All right, let's get this shit over with. I mean, started. I meant to say started, not over with, because that infers that I don't like doing this. No. Apparently, Cinemassacre is 20 years old. 2006? That sounds about right. Holy shit, that's pretty old. Pretty old. For a YouTube channel or an entity. TV shows don't go anywhere near 20 years. That's the beautiful thing about YouTube, and that's the shitty thing about YouTube, is that nobody ever tells you when to stop, and then the bad news is nobody ever tells you when to stop. So what we have here is James Rolfe and Mike Matei. I guess now Mike Matei is magically a huge part of Cinemassacre again, because, I mean, shit. When those Screenwave guys were really, like, on camera all the time. Let me adjust this to where the lights... Okay, whatever. Yeah, when those Screenwave guys were, like, on camera all the time for rental reviews and all that other kind of stuff, there was no Mike in sight. It was like, yeah, he left the channel to go do streaming. He'll still pop in every now and then, but you know, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, he's a huge part of this. He's been a huge part of this. It's like I thought he hasn't been like a very big part of things for like the last 10 years. For like half the channel's life cycle, I don't really feel like Mike's been like a super big part of things. But according to this video, now he is. I get it for the early day stuff, but I watched a little bit of it ahead of time, so I kind of know a little bit what to expect. They're doing that weird recording style that they did with Scott the Woz and Justin that one time. The thing that me and Jason Graves watched when I had Jason on last, and yeah, it's like I don't know what the fuck this format is. It doesn't feel like a podcast that's like they're doing like a Zoom or a Skype call or something, to where it's truly back and forth. It feels very edited, and I don't know what this technique is supposed to be or whatever, but they're saying a lot of stuff. Probably gonna be boring. If it gets too boring, we may just end up watching something else. But I figure 20th anniversary, you know, just dropped this on me out of nowhere. Well, I think everybody kind of expected him to drop something for the 20th, but it was, I'll just say it was low effort, a little bit. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe as I rewatch it, I'll learn.
So Mike and
no, I need this audio not to be coming through my computer. I need it coming through my headphones.
I were talking about
there we go.
The
Got
YouTube
it.
channel.
Got him.
Is actually 20 years old now, just about 20 years old by the time you see this video. So basically we decided that it would be fun to talk about the history of the channel, or just whatever things come to mind.
Oh shit, let me turn the fucking chat on, sorry. I've been having the chat turned off during my intros because I find it way easier to like concentrate on what I'm talking about and what the stream's going to be about, rather than, you know, constantly darting over to what the chat's got going on. Okay, so what's up, everybody in chat? I now see you. Hello. Thank you, Amy, for the super chat. I enjoy your new video. Appreciate it. That video fucking took me forever to put out, as I teased in every live stream. I would always talk about this kick-ass thing I was working on, and there were like, what, 16 people? Something like that? Like, those are all each like little individual, like, what do you call them, novellas? I don't know. Little segments, you know, there's so 16 like segments of like all these like people that and then, you know, trying to dig up accurate information on them too. So yeah, I definitely had help from R. Miskevowitz. So thank you, R. Miskevowitz. I butchered that last name, but with the writing section, because like I took like the main popular ones and I gave them the unknown ones like Handsome Tom and Bennett the Sage, and I'm like, yeah, you can look up these people. I'm not gonna do that. I can't do all this. But yeah, it's out and it's doing fine, like view wise and all that. So that's cool. I mean, hopefully it'll climb a little higher, because I'm hoping it'll do, better than where it's at now. But we'll see. Because that was a lot of my time. So you want to see a video like that do well. The Rush one I didn't care, although that one still did all right. But the Rush one took me not nearly as much time to put out. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there going, oh yeah, and we could tell because you got a lot of facts wrong about John Rutsey and why he quit the band. Wah. It's like, yeah, okay. I know he had diabetes, guys. I fucking know he had diabetes. I know that was one factor in why he quit Rush, but he also was not into the proggy shit they were starting to write. Geddy Lee says that out of his own mouth. If you saw any of the fucking Rush documentaries, you would fucking know that. But these, whatever. Don't want to get on that again. Black Metal. Is it Dad? It's not showing me the fucking full name. Whatever. Black Metal something. I think it's Gamer. Josh can never void the Bimmy. It's inevitable. Yeah, well, I don't know. It's the 20th anniversary, man. We got to talk about it. Oh, Jesus. Classic Cartoon Theater says, Mike has been getting too old to rage at 40-plus-year-old games. Yeah. Yeah, I think getting, like, I don't know. It's one thing to like rage at a game when you're in the privacy of your own home, but to like know that that's probably gonna happen and you're gonna stream it for like a bunch of people to see. I think that's a little cringy the older you get to like still be like doing that, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be funny to see like an old man with like gray hair be like, yeah, son of a bitch, you can't believe you didn't land on that platform, Karate Kid. A game that came out in like 1986 that I'm still getting mad about. It's weird. It's weird, man. And then, damn, Radical Reggie's in the chat too. Fuck. Radical Reggie, Metal Jesus is Radical Reggie. I made it onto his radar. Welcome. Now we just started this actually, but I was reading the chat because I had it turned off at the beginning of the live stream so I could focus on my intro. So anyway, here we go. Let's see what Mike and James have to say to one another.
And because there's no way we're going to cover everything. In the past 20 years, so much has happened on the channel, so many videos. So we're just going to talk about whatever comes to mind. So today you'll know that there is a James Nintendo Nerd channel and a Cinemassacre Clips channel, formerly known as Cinemassacre Extras and formerly known as Cinemassacre. The secondary channel was actually meant to be the main channel at one point because that was where I put all my Cinemassacre movies and stuff. I was uploading a lot of my short films. That was one of the first things I did when YouTube came out. But Mike actually created the James Nintendo Nerd channel before that. It was slightly before. So both channels are 20 years old about now. Basically, the idea was that all the Angry Nintendo Nerd stuff would go on James Nintendo Nerd, and then all the Cinemassacre stuff would go on the Cinemassacre channel. And then eventually, because Nintendo...
I know James is like super interested in these kind of details. Shall I say autistically interested in these kind of details? I don't know if anybody else cares all that much, but I don't know.
Nintendo Nerd took off so much that became the main channel for all Cinemassacre content, and then the other one became like the secondary channel for like bonus stuff and stuff like that.
James had made the first episode, Simon's Quest, and he made Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and he made Karate Kid, and I remember James being at my house, and we've talked about this before, but
see, why do they do that? Why do they cut to James like nodding his head like they're having like a conversation like back and forth? You know, they're not. These are. I gotta think this is pre-edited, just like the other stuff that he did with Scott the Woz and that Justin thing.
You know, him grabbing some of those games from me, like the Jekyll and Hyde had the 89 cents on it, and he's like, who paid 89 cents for it? It was me. I bought it, I think, at Funko Land. With Karate Kid, I think you were at my house, and we were playing Karate Kid, and then James went off, and he went and made the videos, and he would put it on a VHS tape, and then he would show it to me later. Those 3 episodes were known as the Angry Nintendo Nerd Trilogy. And he had these tapes that he would pass around to friends. He had one called the Cinemassacre Gold Collection, and with
who here doesn't already know any of this? Like, type 1 in the chat if you didn't already know this. I just want to see something, man. I'm just curious. I'm curious as to who hasn't already heard all of this lore before.
A bunch of his other movies and stuff on there. But also, all of James's movies at the time were also on his website. And James can tell me it might have been like with Real Player or like QuickTime Movies or something like that. But so what happened was YouTube came out. I heard about it. And like the first day I saw YouTube, I was like, oh, this is crazy. You can watch like the intro to He-Man on there, like, and things that were a little like hard to come by. Like I would watch like old television stuff and be like, oh, this is cool. And then I had the thought pretty quickly, like, oh, I'm going to take those funny videos, because I loved like the Karate Kid video and stuff. So I was like, I'm going to take those funny videos James made, and I'm going to stick them on this website because it works really well. And I'm just going to type, oh, James Nintendo Nerd, just type it in. And then I sent it to James.
I don't know if Radical Reggie is still in the chat or not, but one of the game pickups videos they did recently, I think it might have been Reggie, who it was like 3 Castlevania games that they put on Nintendo Switch, like an actual cartridge. I actually wrote that down on my phone. I need to get that because I didn't know that existed, and I wouldn't have known had I not seen the Metal Jesus pickup video. I've actually found a lot of new games through watching those. I see why they keep them going, because they're interesting.
And I'm like, hey, look, I made this. Look how good it works compared to like the website. And we were like, oh, wow, just impressed with the technology of YouTube. Wow, that works really good. And there's a bunch of, cool stuff on there. And that was really that. It was just like a oh, this footage works better than like the website does. And then what happened is I logged into the channel a couple days later because I wasn't really thinking about it. Or maybe the next day or something, and I looked at it, and it said, I remember specifically, it said 16,000 views on, I think, the Simon's Quest video.
Wow.
And I was...
Dude, for early YouTube, holy shit. That's like, multiply that times like 10, and that's like what, like, the modern equivalent would be. It would be like as if you upload a video, and then the next day you wake up, and it's like 160,000, or whatever, 10 times... 1,600 is, which I don't think is 160,000. Whatever, 1,600 times 100. Yeah, there you go. It's 100. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, if my channel gets video like views like that, that's still really like awesome for me. Even
it's like that's wrong. That's got to be a glitch. It can't be 16,000 views. But then I saw all these comments below it, and then I was like, what?
This game sucks.
Yeah, it's probably closer to 1 million.
And then
right.
I contacted James, and James looked, and James was like, what? That was like a shocking, at least that's the way I remember it. That was like a shocking moment, like, because we never had anything like that before, because we were in college, and I would work like on an animation, or James and I would work on stuff. We filmed the thing. It came from Beyond the Toilet. And we'd work on stuff, and maybe you get to show it to a couple people.
What, there was like, 100,000 users on there at the time on YouTube?
That kind of an audience was totally
or, I don't
new.
know, was there already millions
So
on
we
there
started making the episodes then, like, more regularly, because it was like, you kind of had to. Now you have this big audience for it, so we weren't going to not make more episodes, and that's when it started to steamroll into, like, let's make another, let's make another, let's make another.
Because back then it was more like you'd show a movie in like either like a dorm room with a bunch of friends, or a lot of the movies made during college would screen in front of a whole auditorium of people, and that at the time was the most people I could ever imagine. And still to this day, you can't beat that. You can't beat a live audience, because that's the best thing ever. But there's something to be said about YouTube when you have all these views out there, which is like so many people you could never fit in one room. So it is pretty crazy when that happened. It was a hard thing to like visualize, like just hard to imagine, like how are there that many people out there watching this?
In 2020, we were filming James and Mike Mondays, and I had basically left to go do live streaming. But I had already been live streaming on YouTube and Twitch and stuff here and there for about 5 years at the time, because I started streaming in
I'm sorry, man, but like compared to like what James Rolfe makes as far as like the AVGN episodes, like, and I'm not speaking to the quality of the episodes nowadays, because obviously the quality, like as far as the writing, James's performance, all that's like gone way down. But just the like the quality of like, you know, the blocking, the filming, the various angles, the editing, all that kind of shit. Live streaming is like the lowest effort thing that, especially live streaming yourself playing video games. And I know I've heard from people, oh, it's a lot trickier than you think trying to play the game and talk to people at the same time. And yeah, I agree. That's why I don't do it and wouldn't do it. I mean, I never say never. I might live stream a game like once just as a novelty thing. I don't know. All these people who want to be like video game live streamers, it's like, I want to be able to eat ice cream for a living and also like, you know, make a lot of money at it or gain like a lot of popularity from it or whatever. And I just don't get it. I don't get the love of live video game streaming. Like, I would so much rather play it in the privacy of my own home, where I'm not feeling pressured to like entertain an audience. Like, it's I don't know, man. Like, I get that making videos are hard, editing it sucks, writing scripts are hard, but like, I don't know, at least at the end of the day you produce something that's like evergreen and like worth rewatching. Like, I have people say that they rewatch my live streams, or if they don't, you know, whatever. I don't know why you would do that. These are fun for me, but like, I don't know. If my channel was just live streams, I would not be proud of it. I'd be like, I haven't created anything. I'm just like bullshitting with people. I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. For other people, that's great. But I just never, especially the video game part though, like video game live streamers, I don't get it. I mean, I get titty streamers. Don't get me wrong. I get titty streamers because, you know, it's always nice to look at a nice rack and a nice push-up bra. I get it. Not that I've ever seen any of that shit because, again, just not interested in watching that kind of content. But, like, at least then it's like eye candy. I don't know.
2015, and one of the things
Ew,
that
Josh
happened
likes
as far as
boobies.
audience
Gross.
is that James and I would make these YouTube videos, and then we'd edit it, put it together. But as James knows, like if you're making an AVGN episode, it takes all this time to edit, and by the time you from the time you played the game and wrote the script to the time the video comes out, it could be a month or 2 months or later that the video actually comes out. And then you drop the video on YouTube and there's comments and stuff.
That tune is so familiar in the background. What the fuck game? Is that from Shatterhand? What tune is that from?
But I feel like sometimes you become detached from those comments because it's...
Da-na-na-na. Yeah, that's from Shatterhand. That chip tune. My apologies. I just RGT85'd into the microphone.
Been such a long time since you started the thing that you could be working 2 videos,
wife?
3 videos.
No.
You're working on something else.
She's a weirdo, dude. And she humiliates Ian, or whatever his fucking name is. She fucking humiliates him. And he just takes it, bro. Like, on, like, live streams and shit. Like, you know, wouldn't you ever have a moment where you'd be, like, as soon as you stopped, it'd be like, hey, can you, like, stop trying to embarrass me in front of, like, I heard they don't even get that many people who watch him anymore. It's probably close to around my numbers, and you know that's sad. When you're doing Josh's numbers, you're fucking up. Well, me, if you're doing my numbers, you're fucking up. But I'm rising. I'm not descending back down. So I have an excuse as to where I'm at. Not a very good one because I've been on this platform for so long. But yeah, man, oof. And she ain't even all that good looking neither. That's just my opinion. Not trying to be mean. But sorry, Radical Reggie, if you're still watching, this is kind of who I am as a person. No, I'm just kidding. I play it up for the cameras, but yeah, I'm a softy off camera. No, I'm an asshole off camera too. I got noticed in my neighborhood today when I was walking. I do my walks like because I'm an 80-year-old man and it's good for my hat. And one of the dudes who like lives on the block, he like kind of like waves me down. And I happen to be wearing a Dancing with Ghosts t-shirt, not because I love smelling my own farts, but because it's a comfortable t-shirt. And he goes, "Hey, are you Dances with Ghosts?" And I'm just like, the amount of times people have fucked up my name, which is fine, but I'm literally wearing the shirt that says Dancing with Ghosts on it. And I go, "Yeah, Dancing with Ghosts, it's on the shirt." And he's like, "Yeah, I watch your YouTube, man. I'm a fan. I'm subscribed. I know you just dropped a video earlier today." And then instantly I felt kind of like an asshole. Because, like, I thought he was talking about my band. Because, like, if I get, like, noticed in Jacksonville, it's for the band. It's not for the YouTube channel. But no, he knew me for the channel. And I was like, oh, shit, man. Thanks, man. For real. Like, awesome. Oh, what's my gripe with RGT85? I think he's obnoxious on the Spawn Wave podcast, if he's even still on there. That's how long it's been since I've listened to it. I just think he's kind of dumb in general, like intelligence-wise. Like he almost has like Ricky-isms from Trailer Park Boys when he talks. But mainly he burps into the microphone. Like whenever he does podcasts with Spawn Wave, that's my biggest problem with him. He'll literally burp right into the mic. He'll be eating right into the mic. Because I used to listen to Spawncast a long time ago, and he was the reason I stopped. He would breathe into the mic, and people would have to tell him, Sean, you're breathing right into the mic. He's like, oh, sorry. And they just all laughed. I'm like, that's our Sean. He's so crazy. And yeah, I just think he's very obnoxious. But yeah, him as a person, I don't know him, so whatever. He could be chill in person, but yeah. That's my gripe. So anytime I accidentally burp into the mic, I just say, all right, I RGT85'd into the mic.
Else at that point, and you're dropping a video from months ago, so these comments are kind of almost for us, they're like a little bit like outdated. It's like, oh yeah, that thing I did 2 months ago. So I used to get really excited about the YouTube comments.
And he'll just, sorry, I keep going. And he'll just do shit like on his YouTube videos, like the edited ones. Like he like sometimes won't sync the audio track with his like camera track, and like it'll be like overdubbed like those old Chinese kung fu movies where it's like their mouth is making totally different shapes than the audio that's coming out. And I'm just like, my God, dude, you've been doing this for years. You have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. How did you get this big with how amateur you still are? Oh my God. And don't even get me started on the cuck faces on the thumbnails, he was the king of that at one point. I don't know if he still does it, but my God, the fucking soy faces on his thumbnails to get views, it is so bad. Like, and it's one of those video game channels that doesn't really give you a whole lot of like substance. It's mainly just like, we gotta be the first one to talk about Resident Evil 9. Oh my God, it's coming out tomorrow. Gotta buy it, gotta play it. Yeah, Dreamcast guys the same way. They're these channels where it's like, let me beat the game as fast as possible so I can have the first video out and beat everyone else and get all the views. Like, it's just, I hate those type of video game channels. I can't anymore with them. I tried with Spawn Wave for a little bit, but like, they're, I don't know, man. They're kind of, I hate to use this word because it's been used about me, and I just think it's a played out word, but I think it's kind of grifty, honestly. It's kind of grifty. Like, I'm giving you like, a lot of times it's not even like, oh yeah. And I feel like RGT85, like, he didn't pen this phrase, but he's a huge fan of it. Guys, I really didn't want to make this video. You know, I really didn't want to talk about it, but we're gonna have to talk about it. So, yeah, that clickbait, like, it's so like annoying. So I guess I have a lot more beef with him than I thought. And my channel, is getting to the point where these people could potentially notice that I have a problem with them. When I was 5,000 subscribers, I could just say this shit all day long and no one would pay attention. But now it's getting to a point where it's like, hey man, I don't know why this guy's got like a California Hispanic accent, like, hey, Chicano, that's the word I was looking for. Hey, this is Dances with Ghosts, fool, looking for you, man. He's talking mad shit about you, dog. You know, that could happen. I mean, is it talking shit or am I just being fucking factual? Where is the shit talking? I think I'm being 100% anyway, let's get back to this shit.
But when I started streaming, what happened is the audience is live. So if I'm playing a game and I'm playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on NES,
yeah, you really got me off on a tangent with that one. Good job. I fall
down the hole, and then I look over, and the comment is immediate. The people are right there, and I'm commenting back and forth. So it's closer to a real audience reaction of like a theater.
Oh yeah, no. After all the videos I've made throughout the years on various people, I don't think I'm getting invited to a game convention anytime soon. Justin runs a lot of them. Metal Jesus commented on the video I made about him, but I wasn't really saying anything negative. I wasn't like, in fact, I defended him at the end. I was like, yeah, a lot of people want me to make a downfall video of Metal Jesus, and they call him a grifter and shit, but like, he asked for money for his flooded basement like once, and he had that RV thing that he wanted to do with Drunken Master Paul that he even admits was like a mistake and he shouldn't have done it. There's not a whole lot to say negative about Metal Jesus. I did that whole Norm live stream last week, and I'm like, yeah, Norm's spotless. He's a great guy. So I only say shit if someone's got it coming to him. I don't just pull shit out of my ass just to be a negative cunt on the internet. Unlike some people.
Where you get that instantaneous reaction. Like James is talking about, there's nothing better than that about having the people in real life. But streaming is closer as far as that goes. But there's also advantages to making scripted content because you can make sure things are more perfect, concise. You can double check your errors and things like that. Where streaming is more messy.
Oh yeah, I pissed off Review Tech USA. I forgot about that.
I like that about it.
Yeah, he doesn't like me anymore either.
It's kind of raw. That's one of the reasons I wanted to move to streaming because I felt more audience interaction with that. And
Speaking of Review Tech USA, you know, he did the Rich Tomorrow channel. Now he turned it into Review Tech USA Part 2. He just named it Review Tech USA 2. It's got like a fraction of the subs, although I will say I'm impressed with how quick he was able to turn his live stream channel into his, doing the same exact content he did with Review Tech USA. And he did a video recently about like his like weight gain or weight loss, something about his weight, and I clicked on it and I watched it because like I find Rich entertaining inherently. I think he has the ability to be entertaining, but my God, he sounded so high that whole video. He sounded so fucking high. I'm like, dude, get off the weed water or whatever it is that he's on. Like, holy shit.
It was a little bit more thrilling for me. Some people think that we were fighting or like had some kind of like fight or whatever. That's not what it was. It was just that I
shout out Matt Skiba.
I wanted to stream more.
I'm a Tom DeLonge guy, man. What can I say?
I think we made an announcement about me leaving, and James's response was really short about it. But I think I had asked him to make it that way because I didn't want a bunch of attention and a bunch of fanfare. Like Mike's leaving with like explosions and confetti. I was just like, just make it quick. Just tell him I'm on.
Why is he acting like they're having a conversation? They're fucking not. It's pre-recorded. That's so weird that James thinks he could pass this off on people and they'd be like, oh yeah, these guys are best buddies and they're having a conversation. Like, it's all pre-recorded.
Twitch, that's all it needs to be. So it was never that we were fighting.
Tom was Blink-182.
I just wanted to stream, and and we've done videos
Travis.
Together since.
And Mark helped too, I guess. But Tom,
I just wanted to stream.
Tom is Blink-182 to me.
Yes, I have a restraining order against Mike, and that is why we are not.
That's what it is.
No, we have a really rare disease where that can only be spread between us when we're in the room, and we have to separate because we can't.
That's that.
What? I don't remember. I got like halfway in. I don't remember that lame joke. Man, that was just. That joke did not land. That's what happens when the old Bimmeister doesn't have a script in front of him.
Actual truth. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some people are gonna think that's real now. So, but no, yeah, no. You told me like keep it really short. So yeah, that's what I did because we didn't want to make a big deal or anything like that.
So the naming of the channel, didn't know that the channel was gonna become successful. So I just like I said, it was just between me and James, I thought. And I didn't know it was going to be this thing that was going to last for 20 years. Really, the channel should have been named Cinemassacre or Angry Video Game Nerd or something. But I didn't know it was going to be this continuing thing. And I couldn't really, once the damage was done, I couldn't really get rid of it because now you had all these subscribers and people on it. So it was like...
Well, at that time, it would have been Angry Nintendo Nerd also, which that itself is kind of a funny little story. I mean, really, it's uneventful. Like, a lot of people kind of made it into a...
I think you could just clip the really it's uneventful and just paste that onto the thumbnail of this video.
Big thing where it's like, oh, he got a cease and desist from Nintendo. None of that ever happened. It is a better story, but it didn't happen. It was more just like, hey, we're branching out into other consoles. It should be Angry Video Game Nerd that kind of covers everything. And also like selling merch. You know, you can't have Nintendo on that. You have to have something original.
Tell that to Pat, the NES punk. He's got a whole goddamn set of books. Ultimate Guide to Nintendo. That's his golden parachute. What are you talking about? Yeah, apparently you can if it's used in a certain context. Because I always wondered like how Pat was able to have ultimatenintendo.com as his like merch site. And the Ultimate Guide to the NES, whatever the hell it's called, like how he was able to like use Nintendo in that name. Yeah, and he sells that shit for a profit. A profit. Still going through puberty.
So it became Angry Video Game Nerd.
I remember driving with James and we were in the car and it was the time of the Mick Kids video and we hadn't perfected like the episodes where we worked together yet. I think later on we did perfect episodes where him and I worked together, and a lot of episodes are just James by himself, but sometimes there'd be episodes where I would help do gameplay or write some things. One of those I remember was Super Pitfall. I had helped out a lot with, and I felt like that was more of a good
that was a good episode. I remember that one, that classic one. I remember liking that one.
Energy of us both working together. Where with Mick Kids, it was kind of just like I wrote it and James read it, and it wasn't really what James would have done later. Like later, James would have like really beefed it up and made it like more awesome instead of just reading my like base script. So it wasn't great. Anyway, so we were having that conversation, and I remember driving around and having this conversation also about the name of the show. And we were like, what are we going to do about it? Because James was like, I want to do Sega stuff, and I want to do this and that. And I was like, oh, that's true. I never even thought about stuff that wasn't NES. I don't know. So James was going to come up with all these different names. Do you remember any of those other names, James?
Oh, do you mean like when it was going to split into multiple characters? Oh, I think we even did that in the Power Rangers episode where it's like the pissed off PlayStation Poindexter and stuff like that.
Wow.
Imagine if the show would have been like that and like every episode was like a different guy,
Yeah. The Angry Movie Nerd, that was going to be, Ninja Turtles 3. That
would have been that guy with the glasses all under one roof. It just would have been the one guy and he would have been like all the things. Yeah, that would have been a really stupid idea. I'm glad he didn't do that. That was smart of them to not do that. That would have been ridiculous.
Episode, Ninja Turtles 3, the movie, not the game. Angry Movie Nerd, but that didn't last. It just became Angry Video Game Nerd. Everything was Angry Video Game Nerd.
I think you even say that in there. I think you're like Angry Movie Nerd here. I think you did that. Or maybe those Pokemon things that you did. Those like, remember those quick Pokemon things or Street Fighter little short things that you did back in 2000? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, now I remember. It was on Screw Attack. On the site, they had like movie quote of the week, and I submitted a few of them, and it was Pokemon with it was just a random clip from the movie, and then you would basically just make a comment. They were like 30-second, maybe minute-long videos.
What happened is we ended up being like, I remember us saying this term, we were like, let's have an umbrella name that just covers every.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, he did do Board James. He did, what's bullshit? And then he would he would oddly do these like reviews just as himself, like, because remember the video he did, it was a Sega Genesis versus Super Nintendo. He wasn't even the nerd there, he was just James Rolfe, and I liked that video. He wasn't trying to be funny, he just, you know, he had curator James voice going there. Yeah, the movie reviews. Well, I mean, that's what Monster Madness did. Yeah, so I mean, he eventually developed different series, but like, yeah, being like a different character depending on what video game console you're reviewing, that would have been rough. I think everybody hated rental reviews. I don't think you're in the minority there.
Everything.
Wait, no, some people said they liked rental reviews. It was the podcast that everyone hated. Some people did like. I don't understand why you'd like either one. Like anything Screenwave was involved with on camera, I would just throw it, get him out of there, get him out.
And then it became Angry Video Game Nerd because video game covers all of video games, and I think that was the right move. All right, so the first...
Oh, $20 super chat, Nikki P884. I enjoy your videos. Thank you for the entertainment. Well, thank you for that. It's greatly appreciated. Even though YouTube's going to take an absurd amount of it, but the thought was there, and that's all that counts.
Year of it. Well, okay, really the first year of it was like pre-YouTube, but the first year we were on YouTube, there was about 19 videos. I think
Neighbor Nerds is over
because game trailers.
John
in the
can't
beginning,
look at video games
it was all unpaid.
Sick.
We had jobs separate from YouTube. We actually were working together at the same place, which is a story in and of itself that maybe we'll tell one day. But
I've already told a lot of it, but yeah.
So
yeah, clearly Mike didn't read James's book at all, because he covered a lot of that in his book.
Yes, that's true. Did you write about it in the book?
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff in there that you witnessed, and there's
Mike
stuff in there that
did
you
not
didn't
read.
witness. So that's up to you what you want to talk about. But like,
by the way, I highly recommend. If you're not like a fan of reading, they have an audiobook version, which is what I got, which James actually like narrates. I highly recommend that Movie Making Nerd book, and basically skipping the first half unless you really want to know how James's college years were and how much turmoil he went through, getting expelled and then getting back in is just so boring. And I guess the start of his autism at the beginning of the book with his childhood, he never goes out and says he has it, but come on. But yeah, when he started, dude, the whole portion of this book where he talks about making the movie, it was just, you can hear it in his voice on the audiobook version. He is just so flustered even talking about making that fucking movie. It was what did he say? I think his quote was it was a long time dream that wore out its welcome, or something like that. Like a dream I always had that wore out its welcome. Yeah, I'm not sad that Neighbor Nerds is no longer a thing. I mean, I feel like the last episode they literally did was when John got sick. He got motion sickness from watching James play the video game or whatever. I think that's a pretty big prerequisite if you're going to be on a show where the main focus is playing video games. And by main focus, I mean the only focus.
I pretty much put all the main stuff on there. But there was like crazy shit that happened after you left too, which is in the book. So if you want to read about that.
Mike's just staring so affectionately at James, then just like a proud grandma looking at her grandson, like, oh, I love my grandson.
You got to get my book. The chapter is called Corporate Commando.
You know, we go back in years to like the early videos where it's your standard nerd formula. He talks about the game and progressively, you know, has more and more complaints and then explodes at the end, you know, and has a rant and all that. And that's sort of your classic nerd formula. Later on, you started making episodes that were different. One of the ones that really stands out is the Earthbound episode. That one is like a whole different type of nerd video. Because I know some people feel like, oh, it's just the same kind of episode, like over and over. And like, sure, you have your standard nerd episodes. Like we just did like the Contra Force episode, and I think that was like a standard nerd type of episode.
This is what I don't get. He's saying words like we just did. Like, is Mike involved again? Like, the word was that he left to do his video game live streaming on Twitch. Then he yells at the games. Wow. Let me tune in for that. So is he back? We did this. We did that. Like, that's a newer one. You obviously know that by instantly visually looking at a bearded James, which I think looks way better than clean-shaven James. My God, he looks creepy with a clean-shaven face these days. What was the movie that bad? Or was the movie really that bad? It was bad enough to where I didn't really ever want to watch it again the first time I watched it. Is it that bad? It's not good. It's definitely not anywhere near approaching good. I would almost say Kick-Assia had snappier, quicker joke writing, but the James Rolfe movie, the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, visually and sonically sounds and looks like a real movie, but the jokes suck. So it's kind of like Doug Walker, handheld shitty consumer level camera with crappy audio, but better, slightly funnier jokes. James Rolfe, high budget or high production looking film for the parts that were shot that weren't in his basement with miniatures. But even that's kind of cool, practical effects and all. Cerebral P, $20 for services rendered, not eligible for YouTube brass tacks. Well, they're still going to take it anyway. It don't matter.
But sometimes there's an episode in there that's very different. And you've talked to me before about wanting to do different things sometimes. Like sometimes you'll do a classic type of nerd episode, but sometimes you'll do a new thing. Years back, you had told that to me, like you wanted to do different types of nerd videos. And so I suggested to you the Seaman thing, and then you went ahead and made Seaman, and that's a very different...
I actually thought that was a really good episode. I like that. That's a later stage one. I don't think I put that in my top 11 favorite AVGN episodes, because I did make a video about that, believe it or not. I thought that was a good one. I liked the Seaman episode a lot.
Different type of episode, but it's really good. And also the Earthbound one is just like, when I saw that video...
That's funny that he brings up... I always say to this day, Earthbound was the last really good episode that James put out as the nerd or whatever. I think they came out in 2016 or so. 2015, 2016. I thought that one was really good.
My mind was blown at what you did with that video. So I want to say to the audience, yeah, sometimes you'll have those classic type of nerd episodes, and I love those too. But you got to remember that sometimes there is very different types of episodes, and sometimes they work better than others. And I think Earthbound was one of the best examples of doing a different style of nerd.
You see, guys, Mike knows what's up. He just brought up out of all the more recent, last 7-8 years or whatever, out of all the episodes he could have brought up, he picked the two that were good. I mean, there might have been a few more. I personally really liked the, what's the name of that fucking video game that apparently never truly existed? The fuck is it called? The arcade machine. And he's in the... Jesus, what a fucking brain fart. Anyway. Cerebral P, 50 Canadian. My God. YouTube brass tax adjustment amount. Polybius. Thank you, Cerebral, once again. Yeah, Polybius. Right. Okay. Polybius. I thought that was a good episode. That one was... When I say more recent, you're thinking the 2020s. I think that came out in 2017, that one. So he still had a little bit of juice left in the 2010s, in the late 2010s. After 2020, it just I can't think of a single goddamn. Oh, the Metroid one from last year. I'll give you the Super Metroid one. And he reviews a Metroid game. That one was pretty okay. In fact, I always said that he should have made his movie more in the style of that Polybius episode, where it's found footage and it's very low budget. He's in one location. There's no crazy Hollywood effects. It's just flesh that idea out more, bro. You probably, man, you could raise like probably $20,000 or $30,000 and do a movie like that, and it would have been 100 times better than the AVGN movie.
Video and it really just being awesome.
It was a long episode because it was a long game. So I just remember it being like, if I'm going to talk about this game, I'm going to have to go all the way with it. And that falls into a certain category of episodes like Majora's Mask. That was another episode like that where it's like this long game and I'm going to go all the way through it. And then also...
I don't remember caring about Majora's Mask one way or another. I don't remember particularly having any thoughts on that one.
Final Fantasy VI, which we always knew as 3. That was actually my first time ever beating the game when we did the Final Fantasy 3 episode. I talk about my history with that game and how like the game glitched out when I was a kid. So this was kind of like the retribution for that, where I finally got to beat the game. And I know you did some gameplay in that too, so some of the footage is yours, but I did really beat the game. And I beat it with my littlest kid next to me too when we
This is just a personal pet peeve of mine when people use the word littlest instead of smallest. First I gotta know, is littlest even a word? Is littlest a word? I hear people use this word all the time instead of smallest. Yes, it is a valid word, functioning as the superlative form of the adjective little, meaning the smallest in size or age. While smallest is often preferred in formal writings, littlest is acceptable, especially to denote endearment, youth, or cuteness. Well, fuck me. Bimmy got me beat on that one. Black Metal Gamer Super Chat, what are the worst AVGN episodes? Ones that hurt? Oh, Horse Prince. Yeah, that one hurts. That one physically hurts me to watch. It's so bad. I think that's probably one of his worst episodes he ever did. And the funny thing is, he played the game with Mike Matei back like 4 or 5 years before for the James and Mike Monday. They already played the game. And in the James and Mike Monday, they had very normal human reactions. They're like, kind of like, that's kind of funny. Like, oh, wow, the horse has a human head. And, oh, wow. But then you watch the AVGN episode, and it's like, when did this guy start doing that gack? He was fucking geeked up, man. And not in, like, the nerd way. He was fucking on methamphetamine. Methamphetamine. There's some of yous out there that's a big fan of that. Maybe even caught a felony for it. What a loser.
Did I do gameplay in that? I don't remember doing that.
I think we all recorded parts of it. So Sean did some, you did some, and I beat the whole game prior to that, before we did the episode. So I had the whole thing beaten.
My stream is a YouTube featured. What does that even mean?
Because I used my children's names as the characters and stuff.
Oh, that's right. I remember I did play it. I forgot about all this.
Yeah, like some stuff had to be re-recorded, but it was all from my genuine experience of just having finished it. It was just that when I started it, I was doing it.
What is all those off-camera fucking noises? It's not Mike. It's like some other. It's like You keep hearing this like off-camera noise.
With my children, and basically we used some like private names on there. We didn't want like the family names inside in the video. So.
Yeah, James is. I will give it to him. I've always like, okay, so like before I say this, like I know that I'm like friends with Red Cow, right? You know, and like Frankie does a lot of videos where like he'll have his like daughter in the video and all that, and that's his choice as a parent. More power to him if that's what he wants to do, you know, whatever. I think if I had a kid, which I don't think will ever happen, and you should all be grateful for that, would you really want another iteration of this, you know, for the next gen? I don't think so. But if I had a kid, I don't think I would do that. I think I would just not have them anywhere near the internet at all. But I mean, that's a personal decision for everyone. And James he's as he should be. I mean, he's got some like psychos out there that follow him or keep up with him. Some might say I'm one of them now. I don't even know if I'd want to meet James, honestly. I mean, I see how he like interacts with strangers, and I don't know. I might bring up, I think with people like James, autistic people, I think it's best to be like, ask them about some shit they don't talk about very much. Like, hey man, what's your favorite Iron Maiden album? Because I know he really likes Iron Maiden. Like, you know, what do you think about, I don't know, Steve Howe's bass playing type shit? That's probably I'd probably talk to him about music, honestly. I don't think he really wants to talk about video games ever again if he can help it. But that's, you know, that's what butters his biscuit.
Yeah, people get confused a lot. Like, some people are like, oh, Mike recorded the footage for this and all that. And it's really like, sometimes I will record footage, but James also records footage. So the episodes a lot of times are like a mishmash of some footage is mine, some footage is James or whatever. But you're
I don't get that. What does that mean? The episodes are a mishmash of some of my footage and some of James's footage. Like, how can somebody in the chat make that make sense? So does that mean like levels 1 through 5 James takes, and levels like 6 through 10 Mike takes, but then you have to beat the first 5 levels to get to levels 6? I don't. Is it like a take thing where Mike had a better take on episode 2 than James did, so they're gonna go with that? I don't know what that means. That they're, yeah, Paul, it's just Mike's footage. Yeah, that's the end of argument there. It's just Mike's footage.
You're always playing the games, and I don't want people to think that you're not. You are, and I always am like it wouldn't. James has to be passionate about it, or it's not gonna like.
But he's
work.
not.
So James has to play the games too. So sometimes if I find a game on stream and I'm like, oh, that would make a good episode, I might record some footage, and then I'm like, okay, James, this would make a good episode, and then he plays it too, and all his game footage is in there. But there was one I do really want to mention, a more recent episode that I never knew that you had ever like looked at any of my streams before, but you randomly messaged me kind of out of nowhere, and you were like, hey, I was looking at one of your streams and you played through and beat Dragon's Lair, and I was like, oh really, you watched one of my streams? Because I never thought you ever looked at them. You were like, hey, I want to like go.
So James does go on the internet, confirmed. Because I thought that James literally just never even got on the internet. Like, I'm surprised that Mike just said that. I guess I was in and out of sleep when I was watching this, because I don't remember him saying that. When I watched like the first half of this video, and then I think I fell back to sleep. But it's Dick Slickskins, Prick Slickfield McDickskins in the chat. So I get hung up on that name for some reason. All right, so we have established that James Rolfe does go online from now and every now and then. How much do you want to bet April has like one of those child like filters on the internet for James to like prevent him to go to like any website except for like to check his email or like Mike's live streams? Like, those are the only approved like websites that James can go to.
Go back to that. I think it'd be a good one. And I was like all about that, because like I'm like weirdly like obsessed with that game. And you introduced me to that game really years ago, back in 2007. And yeah. James made the video where he's just trying to like get across the bridge and just like dying going across the bridge, and that in and of itself is like really funny. I love that first episode. But there's all this other stuff in the game that's like crazy and funny too. So he came to me and was like, hey, let's like do that. So I was like helping out, like, okay, if you, to beat this part you gotta like duck and this kind of thing. So I was trying to help guide him, but James played the game, so I might like help him or guide him sometimes, but it's like it's a mishmash of stuff. So I wanted to like explain that, because some people get confused over like,
I'm confused.
Like, oh, they're just using Mike's footage. No, it's
he said it. Oh, they just using Mike's footage. And yeah, Mike wants to correct the record on that, I guess, because these dudes have been beaten over the head with the same fucking comments and for years now. Like, and yeah, I guess you got to play it off like, yeah, no, I'm not fucking tired of hearing this same comment over and over again.
Like, it's like all of us combining it. It's a group effort to make the thing, because it can be, you know, I might get one part of footage of like, oh, me dying, and that might be really funny. but it's hard to also replicate. Like, and then James could record some footage, and something happens on his end. Like in that Dragon's Lair video, you recorded all that stuff with that that Snake King guy. That's none of that footage is mine. That's all your gameplay footage, and so it's like it's a mishmash of footage. You know,
that sounded like the least confident. Just his demeanor. The way he answered the question, there was a lot of like vocal hedges where he's kind of like thinking like, okay, better like choose my words here, because I don't want to throw James under the bus or anything. Saying, that was a very awkward response in the way his body language and how his voice kind of is like, well, you see, well, technically,
Yeah, definitely. Like it can go a different way. Like there's all types of episodes. Like sometimes it'll be like I'll play the game and I'll get up to a certain point, and at that point I'm like, I have enough material for this. I'm gonna go and just start writing this episode, and then while I'm writing it, I'll be like, hey Mike, see if you can get farther in this episode just to see if there's anything I might have missed in the game. Like, yeah, like maybe there's something fun.
Okay, so I just heard Mike go, sometimes I don't know, maybe they are doing a fucking Zoom meeting or some shit. Super chat from Nikki P. Thank you for making my night. Well, I'm glad I was able to do that.
At the end that I didn't see. So then you'll like spend all these hours to beat the game, and then sometimes there's something funny at the end. It's like, oh yeah, you should check out this part, and then I'll do that. So basically that helps me so I can get ahead on the writing, and it's a simultaneous team effort. That's the idea.
The first 19 episodes, I would come over your house a lot, and we like film stuff. We'd play games together, record video, like Friday the 13th and all that stuff. A lot of times I would bring over a bunch of my junk. I'd bring NES games over, and I was trying to dress the room at the time, but I had a lot of the NES games, and I had a lot of like Nintendo merchandise and stuff, and I felt kind of like I was like, let's make this guy seem a little more like nerdy, because James didn't have all the retro game stuff quite as much as I did. I had like a lot of dorky Link figurines and stuff. So this whole thing started happening, this sort of phenomenon. It was a phenomenon to us. I guess this sort of thing happens more often now because everybody's on YouTube now and everybody's a social media thing. But for us, it felt like YouTube was a new thing, and this felt like a phenomenon to us. It was crazy, and people started sending us games, and on the website we had an address to be like, okay, you can send games, and we would try to do videos and review the games and stuff. And
I don't know if this is just me when it comes to being sent stuff, but I feel like, okay, I'll say like 9 times, okay, no, I'll say 7 times out of 10, the people who are willing enough to send you shit are the first ones to turn on you when you do something that they don't like. I've received packages from a lot of people. And like I said, 7 times out of 10, because the 3 times out of 10, it's still cool, everything's fine. You don't want them. That's why, like, I don't know, like, if somebody, like, DMs me or something, like, I really want to send you this, fine, I'll give you an address that's not my house, and that's fine. But yeah, anytime that's happened, I'm telling you, those are the first fans to turn on you. As soon as you do something that rubs them just the littlest wrong way. See, I just used littlest. I'm implementing that. That's how fast I am. Yeah, maybe it's just my follower base, fan base, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, if I receive a package from someone, I'm like, okay, I'm on borrowed time with this individual before I do or say something that pisses them off or rubs them the wrong way, or maybe they do something to piss me off. As far as the Indiegogo money that he raised for his movie, to fund his movie, James isn't a grifter. He's just stupid. He got the money the year, like at the end of it was like the fourth quarter of one year, and then they went into the other year before they started producing the movie, and they had to file tax. They had to declare that money through taxes and all that. So like right from the time, I think it was like, what was it? Like $300,000, $400,000. He raised some ridiculous amount. So right off the top, like half of that money just flew out the window to taxes. Now, if he had got the money, say like in the second quarter or so, when he actually was like doing shit that would have been able to be written off, which would have been everything, it wouldn't have been so bad. But no, yeah, once again, Red Cow did a breakdown on this, and it was really quite funny and quite good. But yeah, no, all that money, a lot of that money went to just taxes right off the top. And then, you know, James has to shoot in LA, Los Angeles County. He's every parcel of land in the surrounding area is owned by someone who knows that people are going to want to film there. So it's super expensive. He's using unionized workers that can only work a certain amount per day. Only, you know, the hotels must be provided if they're shooting on location. There's like all this shit that if he had just stayed in Pennsylvania or wherever he lives at now, it would have been, he would have probably had excess money after the movie was over to play with. But yeah, no, he's, again, don't think he's a grifter. I just think he's kind of stupid.
Fans did send James a whole ton of stuff. At the same time, I was buying a lot of games off of eBay or going to game conventions, and James was also going to game conventions. We'd go together, and we were just buying so many games. So that whole idea of like, this is a character, let's dress the room so it looks more like just video games everywhere, because this is like a crazy video game character. We just kept doing that and accumulating all these games. And I remember on the old Cinemassacre website, we used to have a whole
list
that just listed all the NES games, and fans would send in games. So if we got one in the mail that was like, okay, somebody sent in Jaws on NES, I would mark that off, be like, okay, we have that. And those fans were like sending us games.
And this was all request, by the way. So this was like, if somebody emailed us, we would send.
I don't know how you feel about James's library room that just came out of nowhere. That it's obviously it's a set, but
I was on eBay trying to fill in the slots.
Came out of nowhere. I don't know how I feel about it.
Because I wanted the nerd to have a complete NES collection, which we accomplished that after maybe about a year or two or something.
The room.
He doesn't have Nintendo World Championships. What are you talking about? He has a reproduction cart. I don't know if that qualifies as having a complete collection if you have repo carts. I don't consider, as a former video game collector, I don't consider that a complete collection if it's a repo cart. Pat, the NES punk, had a full collection. I don't know if he still does. I think he was selling off a lot of his shit. About time. Like, I don't know if those NES games are going to keep going up in value as Gen Xers die, older millennials start to die. I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of nostalgia there for those old NES games. I don't know. I don't think so. Especially not, you're not going to get the 6-digit figure for NES World Champ, or what was it? Whatever the fuck, World Championship Sports or whatever. Or what's the other one? It's not track and field. Stadium events? Yeah. You're not going to get those upper 6 figures. It's going to depreciate. If there's no demand and only supply, the price plummets. And then Pat jumps out the 15th story window. That was a joke. I don't want anything bad to happen to Pat.
Back in the old days when it was in an apartment building, it was there was a lot of limitations. I mean, there was a couple apartments, but like basically like the first big limitation was the noise factor. So I couldn't really scream as much as I do now. I think beginning in like 2008 is when you'd see the nerd kind of really flourishing more, when we had the full room and everything. But
I was always under the impression that he was like in a house. I didn't know he was in an apartment. Like that kind of blew my mind when I do remember that detail.
Back then in the early days in an apartment building, sometimes every once in a while I would have to do like a screaming part. Like I remember 2 instances. I remember in the Friday the 13th episode, there was a part where I go, "This game is fucking horrible," and I just throw the game against the wall.
This game is fucking horrible!
And I just remember somebody had to hear that on the other side of the wall and was like, "What the fuck?" So every now and then I just
I thought he was
did
in his
it.
parents' house for some reason.
There
when
was
he
a
did
part
these.
when the famous Top Gun scene where I crashed the plane and I go, "Ass!" That ass
Famous.
and that right after I go,
famous
"Fuck!"
scene, you guys.
That scream, like all that, was done in the sound booth at our workplace.
Ass! Fuck! Bro, if that wasn't obvious to anybody, I mean, I remember when I first saw that episode, I was like, yeah, wait, that's ADR. Before I even knew what ADR meant, I was like, that's some really shitty ADR, actually, because it's like, he's in this, like, room, and you hear all the room reverberation, and then all of a sudden, it's this very dry, clear ass! It's like, wow. That's like some pro-level ADR right there. ADR is short for, I believe, additional dialogue recording, where you have to, if you didn't deliver the line right, like in the, after the movie's done and it's in post-production, the actor actually has to go back and overdub themselves saying the line better or more clearly. That's ADR.
So I actually recorded that at work and then brought the audio files home and used it. So basically like it was dubbed. And then there was one other time I remember where I smashed the Ninja Turtles 3 tape with a hammer. And
It's hammer time.
Just to think, like, who might have heard
Like how I
that?
delivered
Just
that
this
line.
hammer just like bashing this VHS tape to pieces and screaming like, "It's hammer time," and all that. Like, somebody had to have heard. The whole apartment building must have heard that. So things have been much better since then.
I mean, what I think would be appropriate to say here is thank you to the fans, because, we used to live in an apartment and now we're able to have the space to be able to record these.
Mike is looking off to the side, much like an autist would avoid eye contact. By all means, if I was like standing in front of Mike right now and he's just like this, I think we have the fans to thank for this. And it's just like, I know that's how they, for some reason, they set it up that way, but it's funny to me to think that just the autism is so deep. It's like, I can't even make one glance into your eye. I must look to the side this whole interview.
Things properly, but that's only thanks to the fans, because if they weren't there and watching, I think we're roughly around 4 million subscribers now. So if it wasn't for all them, we'd still be somewhere where we wouldn't be able to record freely, or maybe if Angry Nintendo Nerd never happened, you might be working on a horror movie and need to do a scream and still not be able to do it.
Or just don't move into an apartment. They have houses for rent. I'm in one right now. I can yell all I want in this room and the neighbors have not complained once the fucking however many years I've been doing YouTube in this house. That is also an option. You don't have to move into an apartment.
So had the Nintendo Nerd not caught on, and all these fans that watch the episodes still to this day, all of that thanks is, due to the fans, 100%. And that goes, and that's goes for every, show and franchise that ever existed. Like, if the people don't watch, then there's, it doesn't work. But you have to thank the fans, I think, for that.
Absolutely. Like, just the fact that this channel has gone on for 20 years. I mean, that would have never happened without all the support that we got for it. So, yeah, I mean, thanks so much for letting us keep doing this and making it into a full-time job, because it's the most fun job ever. I mean, you can't
Mike can't even look the
something
camera in the
where
eye. He knows
you
what he
play
did.
video games and fucking curse and drink beer, and
All right, I gotta turn the AC down. It's too hot in here, and then I gotta piss. Actually, I'm gonna let this run, because at this rate, we're never gonna get through this video. So.
Oh, what did you do for work today? Oh, well, I dressed up like Batman and punched my friend Mike through a pile of boxes. I mean, you don't typically get to do that kind of stuff.
And also the fact that you don't have any buddy above you telling you what to do. Like, if we worked for Hollywood, you'd work for a studio and they'd be like, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. At the end of the day, James makes all the calls on the videos. I might like sit with James and help out and come up with ideas, but it's James's show, so at the end of the day, he's like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Because, you know, when we were in college, I was thinking about, oh, everybody's going to Hollywood to go work on shows. Like, some of our friends ended up working on King of the Hill, but you end up drawing what they want you to draw, you know, or if you work on a commercial, you are making what they want you to make. But on YouTube, we have the freedom to be able to make what we want to make, which was crazy, because before that you had to work for a studio, and there was all these people above you, and even if you're a director in Hollywood, you could be a famous director and you still are going to have the studio on top of you telling you what to do and what not to do. So you don't have the type of freedom that we have, which is
houses are kind of more expensive, not in Jacksonville, because apartment complexes have amenities. That's how they justify charging the same amount that you'd pay in rent. They have like swimming pools, a gym, sometimes restaurants built inside the apartment. They have shit like that here anyway. That's how they justify charging you just as much as it would be living in a house.
You know, amazing. And I do have a lot of, you know, little gripes and things about YouTube, but the idea that, you know, you can just throw the videos on the internet and we can make anything we want and there's people watching, you know, it's really a dream come true, and it's only because the fans watch it and are there.
And even when I worked for Game Trailers, like being involved with Viacom, they never gave me restrictions on like, you have to make this kind of episode or anything. They let me do whatever I want. And since then we've been more independent. So we work with Screenwave, which is more like an independent company, more like a mom and pop kind of company. You know what I mean? So we've been a lot more independent lately, full freedom. But yeah, basically it's like I get to do whatever I want, and that's cool.
What happened is, for many years, the channel was not monetized. We made no money off of YouTube, so we wouldn't have been able to continue doing the show, because it's like, it was too much time, investment. It was a job in and of itself to make all these videos and stuff, so had to start getting paid for it. So James got this deal with Game Trailers, I think starting in 2008 with the Atari 5200 episode, and then we did that for several years until eventually I got the channel monetized in 2011, and then the YouTube channel, and then eventually we were able to move back over to YouTube, and we've been on YouTube.
I think Schwarzenegger Games, it was this, oh, you know what? It says this was the first episode back on YouTube. That's the first one I ever saw on YouTube. That's the first AV Gen episode I ever saw. And I bet it's because since they were back on YouTube, it just started shooting it and everyone's recommended, because on the side there they'd have all the little videos and it would be like recommended for you or whatever, and I saw that one and I was like, what the fuck is this? And it was the first time that I ever saw that, like, oh, this is like a show like on YouTube that's like very much independently made, like outside of any company or anything. I didn't think that was really possible back in the day, but yeah, I think the Schwarzenegger one was the first one I ever saw.
YouTube since then. The other thing about that is, so we've been on Screenwave, and with YouTube ads, and a lot of people know this, YouTube ads are a lot of times not great. The ads on themselves, sometimes they're okay, but then sometimes they don't pay much. So we came into this world where people started doing brand deals more, and I'm not entirely sure we would have made it until 2026. Maybe we would have made it until 2018 or something, but I don't know if this channel would still be going to this day, really, had we not started incorporating the brand deals.
But they gotta do the brand deals at the very beginning of the episode, which totally takes me out of the whole angry video game guy universe. Like, do they have to? And the answer to that is yes. I'm sure that is absolutely in the contracts with these brands. You absolutely must do a 60-second deal within the first minute of the show. Yeah. I'm sure that's part of it.
And brand deals are something that go back to the 1950s. You'd watch Johnny Carson holding up a pack of cigarettes, or Rod Serling holding up his pack of cigarettes and be like, smoke these Winston cigarettes. We started doing that.
Yeah, I mean, but they didn't do it at the top of the show though. I'm not saying that like brand deals are like this horrible thing. Get your bag, man. It's better than working a real job, but at the same time, like when it's a character based show, like it's not like I don't know, these other fucking random YouTubers like Drew Gooden and like Gabby Bell and just these personalities, but they're not really like a character. It's not as big of a deal to see an ad at the top of the show, which they don't really do. But for James, who's this character that's, you're supposed to be brought into that world, and he's like, hey guys, he's, looks like that avuncular old man who's just like, I'm here to talk about ExpressVPN. He's all smiling, and then it cuts to Angry Video Game Nerd. He's like, this is ass. It really takes me out of it every time, and this has been a common bitch of mine.
Kind of thing. That's all due to, Ryan, who's helped us out with Screenwave and setting that up so that we're able to continue doing this, because like I said, the ads on YouTube sometimes aren't great, so you need the brand deals there or else we wouldn't be able to do the show. A lot of audiences like, why do you gotta have the advertising and why do you gotta have the brand deals and all that? But I hope people understand by this point that you can't have the show without having the advertisers, because like you have to get paid to do this. So Ryan started with us in 2008 and he helped us out originally with the website, but then with YouTube and all these brand deals and a million things. There was episodes he helped out on. I remember he helped us out with some cool ideas for the Rob the Robot episodes. I want to give a thanks to him. And actually that thing behind
yeah, I had no idea Big Ryan was like a part of this whole thing for so fucking long. I thought he came in with Screenwave around like, I don't know, like the 2017 to like 2020, around that. That's when I thought, because that's when you saw him on camera with Mike Matei and whatever, doing whatever. They had some little side series or whatever. I had no idea he had been with them for that long.
James on the wall. I made the channel, so they were gonna send it to me. I didn't really care one way or the other, but I wanted to make sure James had the plaque, or the YouTube award, whatever they call it, and they weren't sending it for a while, but Ryan made sure that they sent it to me, and then I gave it to James, because I felt like I made the channel, but James is the nerd, so I'm like, James should have this thing. This isn't, I might help out, but it's like, James is the nerd, he should have the plaque. So that's just like another like little thing. Ryan's always been helping us out since 2007 or 2008, so he's also been there with us. I wanted to say thanks to him as well, because he's been with us for...
Do you think Ryan's completed his transition yet? Because I just saw a pre-op picture of Ryan. I wonder if he's completed that.
Almost the whole 20 years, about 18 years of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan started up Screenwave sometime, actually I don't know the exact year, but it was sometime after it. So
it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. And they've done all kinds of stuff for the channel, like monetizing it for one thing. It's like you need somebody to monetize the channel. And if we didn't have Screenwave monetizing it, we would have to have like Disney or Warner Brothers or something, you know what I mean? So, and they helped a lot with the production, and like especially Screenwave did a lot of extra help for us in 2020 during COVID.
He might be misgendering Ryan.
I don't think if we had that kind of help, the channel would have continued. So, like you were saying...
I mean, he was wearing a dress in one of the fucking... He had long hair and he was wearing a dress in one of the podcast episodes. So, I mean, you tell me. I don't know. Usually people don't just do that for shits and giggles. I mean, he could have been, but... I think he made some kind of statement online being like, yeah, I should probably just like not be online for a while until I figure this whole thing out. It's like, you think? I don't know. What do you do?
How you don't know how much the channel could have continued without all those brand deals and everything. I also think during COVID, it was such a difficult time that we needed all the help we can get. And since then, things have been better with, COVID's over and everything, but like still, it's just kind of like, just a different world now. So
yeah. And one more quick thing about Ryan. I do remember like back when I was first meeting him. James knew him first, but we used to do these autograph signings and this kind of thing. So we went to one in New Jersey called Digital Press, and I remember it was freezing cold out, and we had merchandise and things we were trying to sell. And I remember this, I think this was like 2008 or 9 or something like that. And then he was out there in the freezing cold while we were inside, you know, signing and talking to fans. And he was out there giving DVDs and title cards.
I thought he was going to say the heat from Ryan's farts kept the inside of the game store warm. So I'm thankful to Big Ryan for that. I thought that's what he was going to say, but that was a letdown.
And different things to people going down the line and helping with filming and all this stuff. So I mean, he's been there since, you know, since all the way back then. He just doing that kind of stuff too. Or I think he goes to conventions with you still and helps you carry shit around. And it's just like, it's not just us. We've had a lot of help.
Yeah. I mean, if we were gonna thank everybody, it would be like a lot. Like there's so many. Like I don't want to leave anybody out.
To all the other like hundreds of people that have helped, thank everybody else too.
Another thing about back when the show was filmed in an apartment building, I remember.
Still wearing that Mortal Kombat hat. I swear to God. When is April gonna open a window and that hat's just gonna like Thanos just disintegrate and just like flow out the window? Like that thing is just seen better days.
I had all the Nintendo Power posters behind me, just
trying.
like you have right there.
Ryan.
Some of them might even be the same ones. But
he's trying.
Basically, the idea was that the nerd's looking at the TV, but really there was just 2 walls because I had like in the other corner was my computer, and the other corner was like a window and a radiator, which you see sometimes in the videos. But basically, the whole nerd set was 2 walls. So what I would do to make it look like the room was larger, I would change the posters on the wall. So if the nerd was supposed to be looking at the TV, you'd have one set of posters. And then if you're supposed to be looking at them from the other angle, I would change the posters out. So that was the kind of stuff.
That's just the very beginning of me doing things completely the most difficult way you could possibly do them instead of finding a simpler solution.
You had to do back.
That's just the very beginning, you guys. There's gonna be a whole lot of wacky shit with lights on the ceiling and making weird fucking blocks of wood that hold your camera. There's so much more wacky or backwards ways of doing things that are coming down the pipeline. You guys just wait.
Back when it was in an apartment building.
It worked well. I remember standing on that radiator when I was the Metron.
Yeah, that's right.
2006, you had those early episodes like Top Gun, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know, all those things that sort of made the series, I think, what it became. We did the Friday the 13th episode, which I think was the first time I had become a character. I was nervous to do it because I knew it would be on the internet and a lot of people, because people were watching the show by that point. I was okay with it because I was behind a mask and didn't have to like show my face because I was like, I wasn't comfortable with the idea. Now I'm like completely comfortable with it. I stream like every day, but back then it was like weird of an idea to like, oh, I gotta show my face on the internet. Like, I don't know if I want to do that.
You know what's funny about that is that like, so the first one the first one you were in, you had a mask. And then I think the next time, I forget what the next one after that was, but basically it turned into where you'd wear makeup. So as the Lion and as Joker, you'd have.
Those are actually any old AVGN that Mike Matei is a part of. Those are like some of my favorite episodes because of his ridiculous, doesn't give a fuck about being an actor. Just and that's why it worked, because I think he goes on to say that he never cared about being an actor, and I mean same. So because he didn't give a fuck, and he knew that like this isn't going to be used in my demo reel when I send it out to talent agents to book me or whatever, I think he just went completely goofy, and I love pretty much all of Mike Matei's roles that he did in the old AVGN episodes. They're kind of like the highlight for me.
Makeup on, and then eventually you'd have your real face. It was like a very gradual process until you looked like yourself.
I gradually got more comfortable with it. It's true. I think that it was Jason, and then we did Bugs Bunny, and I still had a mask, and then eventually we did the Joker, and I had the face paint. And so it took a long time for people to know who I was. When we would go to those early signings in like 2006, 2007, nobody knew who I was, because I didn't think about that, because it was like I had a mask on or makeup, so nobody had any idea. It wasn't until I would go later, like by like 2014, 15, people were like, oh, now we know who Mike is.
You know what that reminds me of is when we would go to game conventions, and I would be like a guest, and I would sign autographs and take photos. We always wanted to look for games that were on sale there, because that was like a good time to like find some games that we needed. And I couldn't do it because anytime I would try to look at the games, everybody would start coming up to me. Very nice problem to have, but it made it pretty much impossible for me to like browse games and buy them. So then we had you do that for me. So you were kind of the one who was like the scout, like go look for the games, because nobody bothered you. But then people started bothering you too.
So the Miracle Piano thing, let's talk about that.
So I think what happened was Mike came over in 2006 at some point early on in the Angry Nintendo Nerd days, and I would say that this was probably either right after the Ninja Turtles episode or right
I'm just letting this run
after the
because
Back to the
it's still got an
Future
hour
one,
and
because
15 left. So
I'm wearing the same
that's
shirt
why I haven't
as in the
paused
Back to
it
the
in a
Future
while.
episode, because you can see how wrinkly it is.
Yeah, I remember.
But basically, the idea was, let's make a really quick episode somehow. And we did that a lot. We did that with, Mick Kids, Wally Bear, the Master Chew. Like, there was a bunch of really quick ones that we did, because we sort of had the mentality of like, oh, let's just do them all really fast. But then we were like, oh, wait, you know what? Let's actually take a little more time on these. And, but so the Miracle Piano episode there was no script or anything. And it was basically just a bunch of raw footage, and I didn't think it was very good at the time. And then eventually we made the NES accessories video, and I talk about the Miracle.
I hate how he says accessories. I believe it's accessories.
Piano and that. So then I felt that footage was like completely outdated, and we never used it. But then for the first time in 20 years, I basically not even re-edited. I edited it for the first time because it was just raw footage, and I had to add the voiceover bits. So I said what I basically would have said back in 2006. So I made it sound a lot like the early episodes. I even recorded it on the same exact camera mic. So it wasn't even an external mic. It was a camera mic, and basically to make it like.
OBS just did an update, and I can't even see the fucking poll that I just put up. I just see like 80%, 86% is saying yes. I can't even see the fucking poll. This fucking update. What the hell? All I can do is end the poll. That's disappointing.
Shitty how it was. But now, after all these years, that episode is finished, and it's complete. 20 years in the making.
So that Miracle Piano was actually I got that at it was either Sears or JCPenney, and I was with my sister, and I think my birthday was coming up, or I think that's what it was. I think it was my birthday, and she actually bought me that piano back then, when whatever year that was out. So I was a kid when I got that piano, and I remember I had it sitting in my closet for many years. Well, I played it like once, and I was like, oh, this thing isn't very good with that game, which you show in the video how it's not very good, and it's not. And then I just had it sitting in a closet for many years. But that's actually might be the oldest thing I have gaming wise, as far as a real thing from my actual childhood, because a lot of the stuff that I had back then, my Atari games and my NES games and stuff, like it that was like 40 years ago, so it's mostly all been lost. So that's actually one of the few things gaming wise that exists that's actually like from my childhood. And there was one other thing that was in an episode. I mean, there was probably a bunch of things, but another thing that I had given you probably remember this, was from the TMNT 3 episode, the katana sword, which was a thing that I bought at the mall in New Jersey.
I'm actually looking at that sword right now.
The more bored I get, the stupider the polls get in the chat. So just, be on the lookout for that.
It's hanging on a wall, like way over there.
But anyway, so going back a little bit to season 1, So we had made the working on the Back to the Future video, and I love that video with all the clips and Doc Brown screaming and everything. I always thought that one was really funny.
Yeah. You know what, though? Actually, with those clips you mentioned, I think at one point we removed the clips, and I don't know which versions are there now. I suppose the originals are still on the channel if you look them up, but I think the official version after that became a clipless version, which really sucks the life out of it.
Don't tell Doug Walker that. He's built his whole motherfucking career off of clipless reviews. That's pretty much all I had to say. Sorry, I thought I had more there. I thought I had more gas in the tank, you guys. I didn't.
Where we were worried about clips, especially when we were doing DVDs like back then. But now I feel like those videos should be seen in their original form.
It wasn't just the DVD. So we were taking the movie clips out for the DVDs, but also it was YouTube. We used to have YouTube used to be a lot different than it is now, where if you upload and I go through this every day with like streaming and stuff. So you upload a video now, there could be music that gets Content ID claim or whatever happens. But back in those days, it was a lot different. You had to worry much more back then than now, because now...
Wait, who's A-Train? Who died? Who's A-Train? I need answers.
If you upload a video and it has a clip in it, you might get a Content ID match, and then your video isn't monetized, which stinks, but it's a lot better than how it used to be, because in those days, if...
Anyway, whatever. I'm talking, but I'm still gonna let it roll. Dude, Doug Walker proved that he could easily do like an AVGN thing if he had wanted to. Like his Bebe's kids or whatever you call it. His review was like on point. Like he could do the whole like, I'm an irritated game reviewer. Like Doug, he could have easily done that. He could have easily made a career doing that. But I guess he was more of a movie guy. I don't know. I think James is a bigger movie guy, honestly. Well, maybe not bigger than Doug, but he's a bigger movie guy than he is video game guy.
For it, and you know, that's better than our whole channel getting taken down. So, but okay. So going back to season 1. We had done the Back to the Future.
All right, I'm ending the poll now while I'm on a high note. 52% of you do feel like I suffer from pretty privilege. I fucking knew it. Fuck!
Episode, and I think between Back to the Future and maybe whatever came next, those like Wally Bear and all that in there, I think it was going to be episode 8 or 9. We were going to do an episode on E.T., the Atari game. And I would always draw title cards back there, and James and I were in the process of making an episode for it, and it was just going to be, the standard nerd episode game review, and I had the title card, and we were ready to go, and I ended up telling James the story because I'm a dork, and I loved all this retro video game stuff, and I used to go on Atari Age a lot. And I would read a lot of lore, and I still do to this day. I'm reading an Atari book now, actually, a really good one. But I'm always reading stuff about Atari and Nintendo and anything. And by the way, in the comments, if anybody knows any really good retro video game books that are out there, let me know, because I like reading retro video game books.
Have you read Once Upon Atari?
Straight diss to Pat the NES punk, who built his whole modern empire on making Super Nintendo or Nintendo and guidebooks, and now James is not even to give him a shout out. Damn.
Oh, that goes back to college.
It does, but did you read the new book he put out? Like it was like a few years ago or so, but Howard Scott Warshaw did this.
I did not read the book of it. So I used to have the VHS tapes of it that I think I would show you back in college, and those had those great stories. There was Todd Fry who would talk about
I hate all
how
movies.
He would, while he was making Pac-Man, he'd be like snorting coke and shit. And then there was maybe it was Howard Scott Warshaw or somebody else who would like climb on the walls and stuff like that. Like Atari just seemed like this crazy place, and I loved that it seemed like this crazy place because you had these crazy games. And
they all fucking did meth and they like fucked one another. It was bedlam. Sodom and Gomorrah. That's where we get the name sodomy from. Well, according to G4, the offices of Atari were like that back in the 70s. So, you know, do a little blow, fuck your coworker, whatever, man. We're making these stupid games, whatever. Who cares? They don't even look like games. They just look like little pixel things on a screen. I'm sorry, I can't do below NES graphics. I cannot. It's got to be NES or above for me to even play it. If the graphic quality goes below that, I just cannot do it. I don't have nostalgia for it. I didn't grow up with it. It looks like shit. It's a fucking joystick with a red button. Fuck that shit.
Crazy guys, and it just made for a great story. And I'll definitely have to buy the book and get that. There was these great Atari stories, like and everybody knows it now, but like the E.T. landfill, and back then, at that time, in 2006 or whatever, it used to just be like
that's
people
Star
would talk about it
Tropics,
on
the
the Atari
soundtrack
Age
in the background,
and be like, oh, do you think they really exist? Were they really buried and all this stuff? And then there was also the story about Sword Quest and all of those treasure.
So is Mike saying that the whole premise of the AVGN movie and its failure relies solely on his shoulders for being interested in these ideas and feeding them to James?
And they developed it into what became the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. You know, even though I told James about the idea of it, but I didn't really have too much involvement in that because I'm just like, I like to record the gameplay footage and do that kind of thing. James is a movie maker. And, Kevin, those guys are, like, into making movies and everything. So when they went to do that, I stayed behind because it's not my passion to make... It's not my passion. I know I play characters and stuff, but it's not my passion to act. It's not my passion to be a director. I know a lot of people want to be a big movie director. I don't really care about... I just like to play video...
James is in, yeah, cool mode. Yeah, no, he is.
Video games and, like, make silly videos and stuff, but I'm not like that. So maybe, James, do you want to talk anything about what happened with the AVGN movie? Because and the idea of being a YouTuber, and one of the first YouTubers, I think, to make a movie. I know some other YouTubers have done it since. I know, like, Fred made one, and recently, like, Markiplier made one. But this idea...
Yeah, but wasn't Markiplier's movie, like, supposedly really good? Didn't I hear it through the grapevine? Markiplier's movie was just fine. Yeah.
Of, like, being a YouTuber and then going and making a movie. Do you have anything to, like, say about that?
Yeah. I mean, on that note, I think Fred was first, but I'm not sure. The fans are what made that movie possible.
Fred was the high-pitched twink, right? The Twinkie kid who had the high-pitched voice?
They donated, and we were able to make it without any major studios on like a fraction of a budget that you wouldn't even like think of nowadays. Like just to think of a movie under $1 million and like way under $1 million, and for it to have such a big epic scope to it. I mean, even though it's like a big action plot, it has a low budget aesthetic to it where like you'd have a miniature plane hanging on a string and stuff like that. So we digitally took out the strings, but I feel like we should have left the strings in. That would have been better.
Now that it's been a long time, and the movies, I guess, in the past now, I'm sure you've like seen it since. Do you have a favorite part?
A lot of it. I mean, because it's a bunch of set pieces. So
no, dude, you're bringing up fucking Vietnam for James right now, Mike. Why are you even asking him about the fucking movie? He doesn't like talking about it. He doesn't like thinking about it. He literally probably wakes up in cold sweats to this day thinking about that fucking movie, and Mike's just going in, man. This should have been off the list of approved questions for this second interview. James does not want to talk about this.
Like every scene is something different. Like that movie never stays still. It's always moving to another spot every scene. Really is, yeah. But the part that probably sticks out the most right now off the top of my head is when I'm out there in the desert with the fans and talking to Howard Scott Warshaw. That was really cool. Just filming it was awesome.
Well, zombie trash, who says this video is too damn long, you're gonna have to make peace with Jesus. Cause I'll be good God diddly doo dop dancing Donnie dipshit damned if you think I'm cutting it off or watching something else, cause I ain't. $5 super chat from Mr. Bagsley. Off topic, but you should look into the quartering false flagging the Keno Casino for the casino making fun of quartering having a bowl. The quartering getting angry at another YouTube channel when this man, didn't he shove a banana up his ass? This man? I think once you do that and you make it public, you can do that all the live long dancing Donnie McDipshit day in your own house. I don't give a flying frig of a fuck what you do behind closed doors, but once you just put it out there, you know, YouTube broadcast yourself type shit, I think he took it a little too literally. And I think YouTube should have taken away his ability to strike down anything after that, because it's like, if you're all right with that, man, you kind of have to just be okay with. Oh, that was The Amazing Atheist. Oh shit, I always get those two confused. Oh my god, I don't know why I always get those two guys confused. Quartering got into it with like Pat the NES Punk. That's all I know about Quartering. I don't know or give a fuck about that guy.
Because like all those fans got to like watch us, you know, act off of each other. And here's like the first time ever where it's the nerd meeting one of the game designers. You know, that never happened before that, I don't think. It's happened a few times, but I don't think it's ever happened on that like big of a scale.
There was the John Romero thing. We had a John Romero thing in the Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see what James's signature looks like. You know, what's that autograph? What's your John Hancock look like there, James? I want to know.
And like how like I mean, you said this to me one time too. You were like, you were like, hey, when I look at that movie, I see like every second is like a shot. That's like a whole
The Quartering's boring anyway, just a right-wing shill. I feel like he probably only became a right-wing shill when like some girl he was simping for like turned him down. That seems to be a theme with those guys. Like a girl in real life turns him down. He's like, fuck women, MAGA for life, Donald Trump, voted for him twice.
Project right there just to get that one, you know, second or like
oh, there is a girl, Melanie Mack. Okay,
on to the next
see
thing.
there?
And,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was just a big
part
of my life for a while of just trying to finish this movie and checking off every shot that we needed until it was all done. But yeah, when I watch it, I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe that we pulled that off.
My thing about it is, you know, seeing you go off and do that. You know, I was sort of a third party, you know, watching you do all that. That movie, though, is interesting. What came to pass is that
I gotta look
you know,
this
whatever
chick up.
people think about the movie, what I do think is interesting about the movie is how you had the foresight to think about, oh, these companies are gonna start selling bad games, and like on purpose though, they're gonna make bad games on purpose. That has happened quite a bunch since then. There's like the Shaq stuff, and there's the
well, I just looked up Melanie Mack. She definitely ain't ugly. I'll say that. She is definitely not a bad-looking woman.
But all the Bubs, like there's new Bubsy games and everything. I actually think, and then they're re-releasing like Plumbers Don't Wear Ties and all this stuff. So literally these things that were nerd episodes are like getting re-releases and new versions and stuff. And I'm like, that's what the movie was like warning of.
Basically in the movie, there was these business people that were trying to like profit off of the nerd by having him endorse this.
I do not remember Goonergate. I'm not familiar with this. Feel free to explain it to me.
So in 2007, James decided, in the middle of doing all these other nerd episodes, and we were doing a lot of episodes back in 2007, that he was also on top of that going to do this Monster Madness thing. So James was like, I think you had said to me, and you can correct me on whatever you want, I'm just going off of my memory and things that I remember, is that you were like, oh, I have this idea to review 31 movies in October. Do you think I should do that? And I was like, yeah, I think that's an awesome idea. You should. Then you went ahead and did it. You were like up all night trying to get the thing done, and you made it, and it was awesome. And I think it was one of
Gotta pee, be right back.
my favorite things Cinemassacre ever did was Monster Madness, and especially like the first maybe like 6 years of it. When we were actually doing like the 31, it's like and all those Hammer movie reviews and stuff. I'm very proud of working on Monster Madness. I love doing that. So James made that first year of Monster Madness in 2007, but this is about YouTube. It wasn't on YouTube. It was on our website. For quite a while, Monster Madness for several years was on the website. And again, the only way we were able to do that was by getting ads on the website. And the only way that happened is because Ryan set that all up for us. James and I knew nothing about how you put ads on websites and everything. So thanks again to Ryan for doing that, because we also wouldn't have been able to do those Monster Madnesses had we not been able to get paid for it and had the ads.
But yeah, but basically, I think that the first Monster Madness, they were on YouTube. They were short videos. I think it was so long ago, it's hard to remember. But they were embedded on the website, and we had like these Amazon ads on the sides of it for like the movie, to like buy the movie, as if we thought that was gonna like bring in some cash, because Amazon did like an affiliate thing where like they would pay you a percentage if somebody clicks and buys that product, and now it didn't make shit.
Yeah, but in the forthcoming years, in like 2008, 9, 10, we started getting like better ads on there, so we could get like paid better. And then also we started having Blip, which Blip never ran as good as YouTube as far as like playing the video, but like it was better than people having to download like QuickTime files and that kind of thing. So it was getting like a little bit better on the website. Eventually, YouTube changed, and like I was talking about with Content ID, where if you were to upload a movie clip and they don't like it, now it just gets claimed instead of your channel gets taken down. That gave us the ability to be able to bring Monster Madness to YouTube. So now Monster Madness has been on YouTube. Dropping a video every single day on YouTube isn't really the best idea, because it's like YouTube wants you to drop the video and then people got to watch it, and then the sort of in the analytics, the line kind of has to go up and more people got to watch it and it has to get traction and all this. So if you drop a video every single day on YouTube, it doesn't really work out that great. They want you to do it like not often, but not that often. Maybe like once or twice a week or something works on YouTube, but not every day. So the idea of...
Wow, this is boring. Holy shit, Mike. I've never done heroin or any drugs for that matter, especially not meth, like some people. Definitely didn't catch a felony for it, like some people. I don't know about any of that. I mean, nicotine, I guess, if you consider that a drug. This makes me want to do heroin. I literally want a fat ass needle of heroin right now, and I've never even done it. I don't know what I'm missing. I want to rail some coke. I want to shoot. Wait, I can't be saying this shit on stream. What am I doing? Use your head, stupid. Don't be saying these things.
31 videos doesn't really work these days on YouTube, so we've been doing less because of how YouTube works as well.
Yeah, and I think by the third Monster Madness, that's the one.
Yeah, you know what else extends it by me pausing it is when I rail some Viagra, then go to the grocery store and make friends with the old ladies.
I think that was the first one on Blip. I'm not entirely sure, but I do remember Godzillathon.
Probably another
the
thing I
second
shouldn't
one,
say on
was
stream.
actually the first thing I think you edited for me for Cinemassacre.
I think it was Godzillathon, and then I can't remember the dates at the moment. I think I have it written down somewhere, but right around the same time, we started doing Spike.
I don't want to play it at 1.5 speed. I don't want to hear rap music right now. That's essentially what it would turn into. I'm not listening to the hippin' and the hoppin' right now. I want to listen to normal people speaking speeds.
2007.
There was a time where you could monetize it, but we still didn't for a while, because YouTube told us that they were worried about the game footage. Oh, you know what it was? It was the partner program. We were trying to get involved with that partner program, and then it seemed like it was going to happen, and then at the last minute they were like, oh, well, we're kind of worried about like copyrighted material on the channel, which was like the game footage. And it's like, oh, okay, well, how are we going to review a game without the game footage? So
it took years. James was trying for a while to get the channel monetized, And then I got involved with getting the channel monetized. And it was like when being monetized on YouTube was totally a new thing. And I wasn't even really thinking about it because we were on game trailers at the time. But what happened was, if you guys remember the show Awesome Video Games, Frasier had his channel monetized, and he started talking to me. And that's a great show, by the way. Check out Awesome Video Games. He talked to me about it back and forth, and one thing led to another, and then I ended up getting the channel monetized. But it took me about a year to make it happen because I was concerned about the channel getting stolen from us, or like...
Yeah, this would be a good YouTube poop. Even if it's my stream. If it's this video with my stream, whatever, just make it happen, somebody.
Like people who,
I haven't seen a good YouTube poop in a while.
But then it's all like ripped away from them. So I was thinking about that, and I was like, I have to make sure... I wanted everything to be in really plain text. Like, you can have all your legalese in there, but I wanted things in there that was plain text, like James and Mike own the channel. James Rolfe owns Angry Video Game Nerd. Like very plain text. And I didn't sign a damn thing until it had all those plain text things in there. And it took me a long time to get them to do it. That was not with Screenwave, by the way.
He's not talking to his computer. He's talking to his big 10-inch schlong. That's probably erect right now. Just because he really likes reminiscing, and it got him hard. And that's who he's talking to. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, when I get bored, I start getting silly.
Then, like, having to work with some company that's very distant and you have nothing to do with, you know.
This video is about our 20th YouTube anniversary. So I'm giving you some of this stuff that's like happened to us behind the scenes a little bit with YouTube and the platform and everything. So sorry if a little bit that this is like technical YouTube knowledge, but that's what this video is. So back in 2007, we were on Game Trailers, and Game Trailers was split with MTV and Viacom and all that.
My
and
God.
While James was making the Game Trailers episodes, he would make a Game Trailers episode, and then we'd put the trailer. You remember this? We'd put the trailer on YouTube. You want to talk about all that?
Oh, yeah. So basically, like, the way it went was so if you really back up, when it was on Screw Attack, the videos would come out on Screw Attack first, and then a week later we'd put them on the YouTube channel. With Game Trailers, it ended up being more like a year after. For a little while, like, we had to inform people, like, hey, the videos are on another site, Game Trailers. If you want to support us, go over there and watch it on Game Trailers. To do that, to advertise them, we would basically make a trailer for every episode and post them on the YouTube channel. It would be like a minute, trailer cut together. And it might have been a little confusing that we're posting a trailer and we're telling them to go to Game Trailers for the full video. Because some people didn't get it. They were like, oh, why is the video only a minute and a half? It's like, it's a trailer. Go to Game Trailers to go see the full thing.
Yeah, so that went on for a while, and then they gave James the idea because they had another website and a television station or whatever
Is
called
that a real fireplace?
Spike TV with a lot of like the man content and all this stuff. And then on their website, they were trying to get their website going or whatever, so they had us do movie reviews. So I had already edited Godzillathon, and okay, so what happened with Godzillathon was that there was too much going on, and James, I was like, are you going to do another Monster Madness the next year? And James was like, I'm not going to do it because it was way too much stress and work and whatever. And I was like, what if I edit it during the year and then we put it out in October? And all this is unpaid at that time, by the way. And I'll just edit it, and I would watch all the Godzilla movies and capture it and then edit it. And to James, James would write it, and I would take his voice and edit it and whatever. And then we put that out in October. But then at the same time, James gets this deal with Spike, and then he's like, I can make all this movie review content on their website. And that's finally when I started to get paid for it pre-YouTube, because, I was still working other jobs and stuff at the time. Then it became, for me, just about YouTube as well. So first James was able to do this on his own, and then a little bit later I was able to start, only doing YouTube or whatever you want to call it, Spike or whatever we were doing.
Josh is getting bored.
So we started doing all these movie reviews which years and years later, now you can see those Spike movie reviews. I think a lot of them are on our second channel, the Cinemassacre Clips channel. So if you want to check out any of those old movie reviews that we did. So that was one of the first projects I started working on as well.
It was a cool gig to be able to do that and get paid for it. So basically I had you edit that, and then I would like cut you a check for those that you edit. But one of the first things, I mean, I think it was the Godzilla-thon, but that wasn't on Spike, but I asked Spike if they wanted it. It seemed like they didn't, because they were like, how many Godzilla movies are there? I'm like, oh, there's like, I forget how many at the time, but it was a lot.
I think there was like 28 maybe or something, 27.
Guys, don't worry. We're a little bit halfway through this video. Just a little bit, like 5 minutes through half. So don't worry. In the next 4 hours, you'll eventually be able to log off and go to bed.
But anyway, it's a lot of Godzilla movies. I just remember the conversation I had with Game Trailers, and they're just like, well, that's a lot of Godzilla. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take that as a no. So we posted it ourselves.
They probably would have done it if it was one, like, or two videos, but the fact that it was 31, they didn't want to pay for 31 Godzilla videos. I get that. I understand that.
Yeah, or 20 whatever videos it was. But yeah, it made sense. So we did that on our own, but we continued doing things on Spike for a while.
Also in 2008 was AVGN Batman. I was trying to be like a Cesar Romero Joker. It took me a year, I think, or so to put together that outfit, because at the time you couldn't just buy a Joker outfit, because it was before the Heath Ledger movie even like came out, or it was being made or whatever, you know, or maybe it had just come out, and I didn't really know much about the Heath Ledger thing at the time, so I was like, I want to do the Cesar Romero Joker, so that came prevalent in the video because we added the bam and pow and everything, and I drew the intro. So I was trying to make it very like 1960s themed, but that outfit was a big pain to make, because what I did is I got a white tuxedo tailcoat. I had to look up like what the hell Cesar Romero was wearing back then, but when it came, it was white. So I ended up throwing it in my bathtub with a bunch of purple dye and trying to make the suit purple. And then I pulled it out after like hours. And
all right, turn your eyes. This is where James sodomizes the Joker.
It was like really light. It was like way too light of a color, and I was like, this sucks. So what I ended up doing was getting purple fabric paint, and I literally painted the suit purple, because you couldn't just buy a purple suit, or I didn't know where to buy a purple suit. And getting all these different pieces, the teeth and the...
Oh yeah, no, the Batman episode is one of my... Look at that fucking face. How can you not love early Mike Matei in those AVGN shows? Yeah, no, this was in my favorite parts 1 and 2. I did a video about my top. I don't know why I picked 11. It had nothing to do with Doug Walker or Spinal Tap, but yeah, this was in my top faves for sure.
Hair and the...
Slick Prickfield, Prick Slickerson, Slick Dickfield just donated $20 super chat. Thank you so much for that.
Like all the different things. It was a whole ordeal, like putting that together. So the part that I remember from the Batman episode the most is all the time I spent making the damn outfit.
Like, is it just as hard now, or has it gotten any easier?
James and I had a Halloween party a couple years after that, and I think James was dressed as the Riddler and I was Batman. But
okay, let's look at this picture here for a second. Alrighty. And I don't know. It's like I had this dude that I like met in person at one of my gigs, one of my karaoke gigs. This is Josh story time, by the way, which I feel is a little bit more interesting. And like he really wanted to be my friend for some fucking reason. I don't know why. He might have been gay for me. Who knows? Pretty privileged. This is what happens. Other men find you attractive. And then I went to his Facebook because I was going to add him. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'll shoot you a message. Maybe we can, like, you know, grab a drink sometime or whatever. And I went on his Facebook page and I saw him and a bunch of his buddies, I guess for his wedding or something. They were all wearing, like, kilts and, like, you know, and almost in, like, a Renaissance fair type vibe. And it was at that moment that I decided not to add him, and I decided that I don't think we're compatible as friends. Now, I would think if this were to happen nowadays with somebody else, and I went on their page and I saw that, I would retract perhaps my friend request or my desire to want to be friends with this person. That's all I'm saying. Whatever. Have your fun. Do you have fun? But I don't know. It's like when I meet like a full-grown man and he's on Pokemon Go on his phone and he's just I don't know what the tapping thing does. It just looks like chicks who are like masturbating in the wrong way, where they think that's what you do. It just looks like a bunch of that going on, and I just get the ick a little bit. To borrow a Gen Z term, I get the ick.
That time, this company put out a bunch of 1960s Batman costumes like a few years later. So you can just buy it now. Like the Joker costume I wanted, now you can just get it. But when we were making the video, it didn't exist yet. So now it's easy to get. There are other crappy Batman games. And speaking of, all these videos over the years, I did a video called Batman Leftovers one time. Because, most people think of the channel and they just think of Angry Video Game Nerd. But in between, I was making a lot of other like little videos around that same time. Somewhere in there, 2008, 2009 or something, I made a whole show called Mike's Game Glitches. So I made 16 episodes of that, and that was just me talking about little glitches in video games.
Do you guys remember that fucking... Didn't someone make a show based off, like, they used like the Halo video game, and there's like 4 Master Chiefs, but they like overdubbed like dialogue, and it was like a whole ass like show for a while. I know someone in the chat knows what I'm talking about. That was a weird idea.
And I also did another series about top 10 obscure games, and I started doing all these top 10 videos and things.
Red versus Blue?
Because
okay.
like it would take time to make nerd episodes.
Is that like a beloved show? Should I not like say anything negative about that?
And also back then, you gotta remember James was working on doing the movie. I was really concerned at that time that, okay, James is putting a lot of times into making this movie. There wasn't as many nerd episodes or anything. So I was like, nobody's gonna be watching the channel by the time this movie comes out. So I was like concerned about like the hype and the dying and all that. And I really, like I talked about back then, like I didn't really like to be on camera and stuff, but I really felt that maybe the channel might not last if there wasn't some kind of videos.
God,
so I tried to do some gaming videos like
Taking
in between, because I knew this movie stuff was happening. So that's really like why I did it.
Yeah, so basically it's that when I was away filming the movie, Mike was here working on videos so that there would still be content on the channel, because I was too busy making the movie.
Yeah, and I like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that I could have just let it sit, and having the legacy of the Angry Video Game Nerd episodes, that might have been enough.
Dude, if he was doing that like on a small little cell phone with a stylus, I mean, that was kind of impressive, I think. I mean, there's no Todd McFarlane, but
And it might have been fine. But at the time, I didn't know, like, are we going to have a year or two with like not many videos? That's probably not a great idea. So, regardless of, and it was also hard for me at that time because and this is a quote people say, you never want to step into a great man's shoes, and try to replace them, because it always goes badly. So you were already...
Somebody had to make that a quote? That's not just obvious? That's weird that someone had to make a quote of that. It just seems like an obvious like statement.
The nerd character, and people were there for the nerd. So for me to come on like another guy, and people are like, who's this other guy? And I knew that going into it, like maybe this isn't a good idea, because people don't want to see that. They want to see Angry Video Game Nerd. But I was like, something has to come out, so I'm gonna have to like do this anyway. We did.
Yeah, Todd's voice in the opening of the Spawn HBO episodes just always caught me off guard. Yeah, it's got this dark looming. It's like shot, realistically. It's like in person. It's not like the cartoon yet or whatever. And then you have like Todd McFarlane coming. He's like, "What would you do if the devil offered you a chance at redemption? Would you take that, or would you let it slip away? That's what our character Al Simmons is dealing with tonight. Now Spawn, so turn off your lights." Yeah, he didn't have the voice to sell. He had the looks. I mean, he looked like a off-brand American Psycho guy there. That guy, Christian Bale. He did not have the voice. The voice was very nerd coded, as the kids say. insert thing and put coded afterward nowadays. I'm putting you guys on game on this shit. You know what I'm saying? When I start talking black, then I start saying shit like on game, and know what I'm saying? Saying. Sorry.
A whole series of videos about Ninja Turtles called Turtle Tuesdays, and we did, oh my god, like, I don't know, like 20 different videos about that. Do you remember that? You want to talk about that?
I feel like it was more. I don't know. I'd actually, I'd be curious to look at the list of it, but Turtle Tuesdays was awesome. That was basically like we had a Ninja Turtle related video every Tuesday for the longest time. And I think the highlight, I think the best one must have been the pizza party taste test, where it was all of Michelangelo's pizzas from the cartoon, and basically every ingredient that he ever put on the pizza we would make in real life. So we had this big pizza party where we taste tested all of them, and that was a great video.
Another one of the ones I really remember though was the animation flubs one, because we went through James and I both watched every episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and would take notes on every episode, and whenever I would see a mistake, like sometimes, let's say like Raphael wears a red mask, sometimes like it might be a blue mask but Raphael's voice is coming out of it and stuff like that, or all kinds of different animation mistakes. So we'd mark down all the different like little, every time there was an animation mistake. And so the video, when you,
God, who would sit through all those old Ninja Turtles just to find where they fucked up animation wise? That is some weapons grade autism right there. Be careful with that shit. My goodness.
see it is just all these like bad errors that they made. I love that video. I think that video is maybe my favorite of the Turtle Tuesday ones.
Yeah, what was cool is like whenever we did something like that, we went all in, because it was, I had never seen every Ninja Turtles episode, you know, at that point. Like I think as a kid I stopped watching around maybe season 4 or 5, but like when that came, when we made those videos, the whole mission was we're gonna watch every episode of this, write all kinds of notes, and in the end we got like all these extra videos about it. There was like a main set of videos where it was like the cartoon series review, part 1, part 2, I think there was a part 3, and then it was like the top 10 animation flubs, and then all these other things that happened.
And I'm gonna get my revenge on you little possum pussies.
What?
Possum pussies.
Okay, it sounds like he's saying possum pussies, but what's he really saying?
Possum pussies.
Possum pussies. I'm gonna get my revenge on you little possum pussies. Why is he talking like a fucking, what do they call that era? The fucking, that era in the South where you had like Colonel Sanders and shit. I know it's like the slave times. There's a fancier name for it. That's like, is that a dude from like that era of the American South. Just, I'm gonna get my revenge on them possum pussies, and then my runaway slaves after that.
Possum pussies.
Possum pussies. He says it. I didn't know you could say pussy in a cartoon, unless you're talking about a cat.
Pussy. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, pussy, 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 pussy.
Oh, lovely pussy, what a beautiful pussy you are. Oh, lovely pussy.
Antebellum, is that the name of that period? The antebellum period? Or is that right? I'm gonna have to look it up.
What a beautiful pussy you are.
Do you remember Cinemassacre Shit Week?
What did we do during that? I don't actually.
It was basically the making of It Came From Beyond the Toilet. Yeah, I think we did like a new commentary, and like we posted, first of all, we posted the original movie.
Yeah, I was right. I can't believe it. Refers to pre-Civil War era. Sometimes you also see it called the plantation era in the South. This period of time traditionally covers the economic growth of the South based on plantation farming and driven by slavery. I knew that was in the fucking hard drive there somewhere. Got it right. Nailed it. Self high five. DDP, bang! For those enjoyers of WCW.
Because I think for a while, like, there was no way to see it. So we posted that, and then like all the behind the scenes videos that came with it. One of them was just me and you coming up with titles for the movie. And so there was that. And Yes, so Cinemassacre shit week.
Wasn't that shot on a Bolex?
Yeah. The original movie was shot on a Bolex 16 millimeter black and white reversal, man.
So when you shooting a nerd episode?
As I'm watching this, I'm like there's certain parts I remember, and certain parts I clearly nodded off in my heroin days. Again, why am I saying that? YouTube pod doesn't like these kind of terms. AI clocks your speech with the quickness these days. Like a female protagonist. That's what I mean by heroin, not the drug. Yeah, I'm like nodding. I can see where I fell asleep and why I would like wake back up, because like I don't remember some shit, but like the Bolex camera or whatever. Like I remember him talking about this.
So on a Bolex.
You know, I've actually thought about it. I've
Yeah,
thought about
maybe it's
doing it
'cause
as
I
like
am
a
an
gag
Alice in Chains
sometime.
fan.
Because,
So what?
Because you know how, okay, like The Immortal, that video.
Wait, we should say a lot of the audience probably has no idea what a Bolex is.
It's a shitty film camera. That's what it is.
Crank on it.
Yeah. It's cranked. There's no comfortable way to hold this thing. It's so heavy. Anyway, let's not get into a Bolex right now. It's a piece of shit. But that's what we had to use in college, basically. And
So that's the most animated James has got this entire fucking interview, talking about how he doesn't want to talk about the Bolex.
I'm like, you know what?
This is how much film
longer are
traumatizes
people gonna be
James now.
using film? Because I foresaw it. I knew. Like, I was kind of like the video rebel in my film class. Like, I was like the only one shooting video. Actually, no, there was a couple others. But basically, when they came out with that Panasonic DVX 100 camera, it shot in 24 frames a second. And that made it look a little more like film because it had the frame rate. Cameras were getting better. Like, I just knew eventually, like, we're not going to need all this film stuff. Those videos we did about the 16 millimeter films was really fun. And that was just you and me just threading up a bunch of old films, because you brought over these Looney Tunes cartoons and everything.
There was a point where I was really into collecting 16 millimeter, and you were too. And I
So just want to give you a little insight to your fellow chat watchers real quick. So I've run polls in this chat, right? And I thought surely this group of fine young men in the chat, I'm assuming you're all men, maybe there's 2 girls tops. You know, I ran some polls, and I would say unknown fact, and you could either say yes or no. Here's what the majority of you said yes to so far. Unknown fact, Metroid 2 was originally called Women Can't Vote. 65% said yes. Unknown fact, before Pikmin, Shigeru-san wanted to make a diarrhea sim game. 89% yes. Unknown fact, Shigeru-san originally wanted to call A Link to the Past Squirter Fetish Sim. 75% yes. Now, to say I'm disappointed, kind of an understatement. But at least I'm mildly amused.
was very
I just kissed you.
into, well, just getting things that I like. I still have a print of Star Wars that I watched that with you one time. But I don't have quite as much anymore. But there was a point where I think I had every single Roadrunner cartoon on 16 millimeter. And yeah, we shot that video years back. I'm glad we did it, and maybe hopefully it introduced some people into that world. And
I mean, yeah,
interest.
there's a lot of
I
squirting.
still love it, but I
Link to
kind
the
of
Past,
also
so
moved on from it.
It's fair enough.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I still have all my films, but I just haven't screened them in a while. The thing about 16 millimeter film is that you just don't know what you're going to get, and that's what makes it fun. So you'll never know if, like, maybe the film looks all red, or maybe there's something weird spliced in it somewhere, or maybe, like, so I have Clash the Titans, and it's 3 reels long, and I think the 3rd reel is in French for some reason, and it's like, well, why would the 3rd reel be in French? Does that mean that it got mixed up with like a French print of it? So now that one has 2, or that one, the 3rd reel is English, you know? So
Guys, I've just been told through unknown sources that if we hit 100 likes on this stream, Metal Jesus will actually join the chat.
So it's just like film is just weird.
I love Ray Harryhausen stuff. I mean, I'm an animation guy. I just made a whole video on my I have a members area on YouTube, and for my YouTube members, I made this video about cartoon DVDs and my cartoon DVD collection, and talked about Looney Tunes and Disney and like just everything. Like, it's a really detailed video. And but one thing I didn't talk about Ray Harryhausen, because it's not like a cartoon. It's like those are like segments.
I like how like throughout this video they cleverly like tied in all the recent videos that James has released on Cinemassacre. They brought up the Miracle Piano secret episode, which I swear to God I've seen. I saw something about Miracle Piano. I think it was in his accessories episode, right? Didn't he bring that up? And now they're talking about the Harryhausen. What an unfortunate last name. Because that's a recent video that they put out, and they're just kind of like slightly kind of shoehorning. Oh wow, look, I'm talking about this new thing. Go and watch that video. Or a Drunken Master Paul will join the chat if we only get 50 likes. So hit that like button.
In movies that were animated. And speaking of stop motion animation, James has a beautiful print of King Kong, which is just so, the fight with the T-Rex is so awesome.
Yeah, it's complete, which actually the weird thing about it, I had to actually splice the scenes back in. I think you found the missing scenes for me separately or something, and I basically watched the movie and just matched it to the frame and added those missing scenes in, because there were scenes cut from the movie originally.
Yeah, well, who's to say Drunken Master Paul isn't in the chat? I didn't say he was going to interact with anybody. I just said he'd be here, and he is.
2013. We did a video called Top 50 Shitty Shark Movies.
The fucking shark movies at? Oh my God, shark movies! Shark movies! There's a shark movie!
I mean, we did legitimately have Radical Reggie in here earlier. I think he stuck around for all of 5 minutes until I started like, probably me talking shit about RGT85 was when he left. He's like, "Oh, this is too hot for me. I gotta back my ass out of this chat." If I'm wrong, Radical Reggie, just say so. I'd love to know if you're still here or not.
Basically, so you came to me with this whole stack of DVDs that were all these shitty shark movies for the video, because basically that's how it would go. I'd say, "Hey Mike, I have this."
Yeah, if this chat hits 15 likes, Darkside Phil will join, and he may or may not interact, but he will be here though.
Capture them all, and we'd make the video, and then from that point forward, I would have all these DVDs in my house. And I think you also gave me a lot of VHS tapes and DVDs that you had, but regardless, I'll have a random movie in there like Son of Mask, and I'm like, why do I have Son of Mask? And I'm like, oh, that's right, because we used a clip of it in that one video. So basically, all the physical media in my room is like a reminder of all these videos that we've made over the past 20 years.
So I ended up bringing a lot of my DVDs and Blu-rays over to James because I wasn't using them as much anymore. I had edited Monster Madness for about 9 years, something like that, and then we sort of changed things up because it had been going on a long time. And we still do Monster Madness now, but it's sort of less. So I didn't need like 80 million DVDs. Like, I didn't need the copy of Son of Mask and all this stuff. So I ended up giving all these and James already had a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays and all this and VHS tapes. But then I gave him all
right,
mine, and you ended up making your...
Hold on. Yeah, shut up, James and Mike. All right, look at the screen here. All right, doesn't this almost look like I have like a thick ass mustache? You see that? Isn't that pretty cool? Do you think this is a look for me? Oh, I feel like yeah, I got like a Julian mustache now from Trailer Park Boys. Holy shit, I kind of look like Julian. Ah, this is pretty cool. Oh no, it's more entertaining than what we're watching now. All right, let's go back to the fucking...
Like, this thing's a piece of shit. And then there was the part when you found out that there was that plastic like stick that holds it up, and you're like, well, this thing is a piece of shit. And then when you took the helmet off and you still had the plastic thing hanging on you, you were like, well, could you imagine if you forgot this, if you left this on, if you're like, hey guys, and you're walking around and the thing's like swinging?
Oh yeah, I do want to bring this up. Jimmy, aka Kevin, who whatever, he's fine. I don't have a problem with him. He did do his clapback video or whatever. He mentioned this eye thing. I don't know if you guys have seen this video. I'm sure most of you have because you love this kind of shit. I don't blame you. I like drama too. But he mentions I'll do like the shit like this with my eyes. You know what I'm saying? That is a tic/OCD thing. It's not because I'm so wasted that I'm trying to focus on the screen. It's similar to what Ethan Klein has, if you've ever watched but he has it way worse than I do. But yeah, my shit either borders on, I mean, I have OCD diagnosed, but I don't know if it's a tic or OCD. Like, they can kind of be interchangeable. So if you ever see me doing some weird shit with my eyes, that's what's going on. I don't know. I thought I was masking pretty good, so I never felt the need to bring it up. But Kevin did. Good job, Kevin, bringing up something I can't do anything about. What a guy. But yeah, that's what that is.
What if you forgot, like you took it off and then you forgot to like take this off and then you're like walking around town like, hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on?
And that was the moment where I was just laughing myself to tears. Like when would you ever just be like walking around with this thing?
That's your favorite of all these years. So there was another one that we did that I really like. It was the video that you sort of replaced with the nerdy turd like later, but originally we had done a video where, and I think it really is actually our first like let's play together, because later on we did like James and Mike Monday, but I think it was around 2009. James and I were playing Odyssey games on his television on a CRT, and where you'd stick the thing, the overlay onto the television. Okay, listen. So over all these years, usually we do not drink during things. I think I can actually only remember 2 occasions where we were actually drinking during videos. One was Friday the 13th, and the other one was this video where we were playing Odyssey games. And we were having some drinks, and I remember that being really, really funny.
Oh, take the shot, you mean?
Yeah. Here.
All right, okay.
All right, here's to the United States of America. Okay. Here's to the USA.
USA!
I've never taken a shot to the USA in my life.
It's America, boy!
America! America!
I think, if I remember correctly, I think what that was you were helping me record the footage for the Odyssey because I needed a second person for the other controller. And yes, but we released it separately as well because our commentary was so funny that some of it was funnier than the actual video. So like basically when we were doing the
I think you initially, I could be remembering this wrong, but I think you asked me to be in the video, and because we had so much fun doing that, and I said no because I always felt like the only way that would work, I guess, is you would have to like introduce me, and then I'd be a character like on AVGN, but I just thought it was weird because who am I in the nerd universe? So I just thought it was like weird, but I was always okay with doing characters because it's like, okay, Spider-Man comes in or Bugs Bunny comes in or the Joker comes in or whoever, that makes sense because that's a character coming into the nerd universe. But if you just have like a random person come in, it's like, who is this random guy? So I didn't want to do it.
I do remember one time we brought you in as yourself, and the only time I think was in the Lethal Weapon episode. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I did that because I thought it worked because of like the way the game is, where the guy goes off the screen and then comes back.
What are they talking about? I like. What are they even going? What are they going? They've lost the plot, mate. They've lost the plot. They've lost me, and they've lost you. Start talking about interesting shit.
So I thought like that made sense because I thought it could literally be anybody. Like, you could have had another person do the same thing, so I was okay with that.
Walk off screen to select the characters. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. That'd be like if I just walked off screen right now and somebody else came in. I'm getting too old for this shit.
So it's like if something works in the moment or it works for that particular thing, then yeah. So another video, do you remember Transform a Transformer? It was you, me, and Chad, who came all the way from Texas. Basically, the video, I think you came up with the idea, was that we would see who can transform a transformer the quickest, and we had like 3 rounds or something. And there was a part where Chad, he was trying to transform Megatron, and he ended up making a Mega Dong, basically. And then, so, yeah. And it's,
I don't know what they're talking about. Hey, Josh, as a fellow musician, I was just wondering how you come up with ideas for songs when you have writer's cock. When I have writer's cock, basically you just keep playing the instrument, you keep experimenting with it. If you have like a DAW, like a digital audio workstation, you just keep fucking around with certain effects until you take a drum beat and add distortion, add delay. Eventually you're going to come up with something that's interesting, that's like, oh, okay, I can work with this. If you don't have that, just keep playing guitar and do weird shit you wouldn't normally do on guitar. Just break out of your box that you're in as a guitar player or a musician.
But then the card would like end up falling down the stairs, and then we call it the game Drunken Fool Down the Stairs, or something. It made no sense.
So I think what it was, you had to guess the suit of each one or something. If you got it wrong, you fall down the stairs. But the thing is, and I used the quote as recently as the Contra Force episode, where I go, "Drunken fool down the stairs," and you got to say it like that, like as obnoxious as possible.
When I was a kid, we used to play this game called Go Fish. I forget the exact rules of the second, but like something, if you lost, you had to say fishy.
All right, wasn't there like another video that was released recently about Mike Matei with he's talking about his Inspector Gadget video or something? Because this is like, the barrel is running dry here, and there's still 30 minutes. I might even skip a little bit here.
Fishy got my wishy, and because you lost, it was your punishment to have to say that. So the Drunken Fool Down the Stairs thing.
Yeah, I'm skipping. Skipping ahead. All right, this looks like something.
For all the trailers I made, like Dr. Jekyll, the game, the movie.
That was awesome. That was one, I think that was really awesome. And those monsters that you made, that got made and everything, and that was awesome. I always wish you'd do more of those.
Yeah, so I did, there was a trailer for Mimble the Elf. That's a really good one too. I'm not gonna explain it, but just go look it up. Then there's also Flying Fuckernauts versus the Astro Bastards. So we've done tons and tons of movie reviews, tons of Monster Madness, and then other random stuff. And one of the funniest ones I think we ever did was top 10 worst top 10s.
Not to cut you off, but those trailers. What about Monkey Fuck?
Oh, Monkey Fuck was at the end of Flying Fuckernauts versus the Astro Bastards. It was because it's on a triple fuck-tuple feature with Monkey Fuck and Thunder Fuckers.
Thunder Fuckers.
Thunderfuckers.
This reminds me of all these modern crappy comedy podcasts with like shitty comedians like Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, or like Bobby Lee or whatever, where like, I guess a general rule to do a comedy podcast now is where you have this whole team of people that work like offset, but I feel like there's almost a mic designated for these people, and the mic is far away, and it's for when, so let's just take Two Bears, One Cave, the worst of the worst. Man, them possums are off the chain right now. God damn. Anyway, like Bert Kreischer will be like, yeah, I drink a whole thermos of Kool-Aid, and then Tom Segura will be like, that's more of a Bert Kreischer laugh, but you hear all these people offset laughing as well. That's the thing with modern podcasts. If you hear people offset laughing, that's how you know it's a good joke, because even the people who aren't in on it, they even find it funny. I hear this on so many podcasts now, just people offset laughing. I swear there's like another mic set up just to capture that. It's almost like a canned like studio audience like laughter or whatever. Oh yeah, we got plenty of possums here, Bubba.
Yeah. Thunder, 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 fuckers. Top 10 worst top 10s. That was when we were just like, we made so many top 10 videos that we were just kind of burning out a bit. And then we were just like, fuck it. We're just going to do whatever the hell we want. So top 10 worst top 10s was like all these ridiculous ideas for top 10 videos, some of which got made, I think. But I think number one was top 10 moments when Johnny Depp says the word then. And you had to actually go into all these movies and find clips where he says the word then, and we would isolate that and be like, oh, there it is, he said it.
Where are all these videos? I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about right now. Like, is this some, like, alternate universe channel?
Number 3, Sleepy Hollow.
Well, then,
Number 2, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
All right, I gotta pee. I'll be back.
And number 1, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Goodbye, then.
One of the top 10s that we did that I really liked was the electrocution one.
Yeah, top 10 electrocution scenes. When Freddy Krueger comes out of the TV, he makes the scene with one of his best one-liners. So there was that. There was top 10 window breaks, like when somebody jumps through a window.
I love those videos. Those are some of my favorite videos we ever did. I think those are some of the funniest ones we ever made.
Number 13, Street Fighter. Everybody wanted a good Street Fighter movie, but with this piece of garbage, all our hopes were shattered.
In 2022, we did the Last Ninja episode, and I wanted to mention I had a lot of fun doing that because we got to film a fight scene, but it was different because usually I'm a guy in a costume.
Bugs Bunny's birthday blowout. How about Bugs Bunny's birthday beating?
Which is, that's fun to do, but we filmed a fight scene where I was a puppet.
Help me, Big Bird!
So I'm like on top of James, like doing this kind of thing with Ernie.
Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit! Take that, bitch! Fuck you, motherfucker, you fucking piece of shit! I'll fucking kill you! You wanna beat my score?
What episode was this from?
Well, beat this, motherfucker!
What did I walk
you feel
into?
real good about yourself, huh? Well, how's this feel?
Yeah, the Ernie thing was so funny because it wasn't so much them fighting. It wasn't just about that. It was about the awkwardness and the tension before they fight, where like the nerd beats Ernie's score in the game, which by the way, it's just somebody named Ernie. Like I think there's just an Ernie in the credits and we just decided to make a stupid joke that it's Ernie, the Sesame Street character. And he comes into the room and is like pissed off.
Thank God, a fucking super chat. Big Jack Films. Don't know if you'd be interested, but some of my videos continue the channel awesome lore. I got Doug, James, and others in them as well. Loving the videos. Ooh. I might have to take a little looky-loo at what that's all about.
That the nerd beat his score, but he's subtle about it. He's subtle enough at first, and then it ramps up.
And I'm pretty sure any cartridge of that has those names on it. Like those are the embedded like names. So if you get a copy of Last Ninja, I think it says Bert and Ernie like as the credits. So when I saw that, I was like playing the game, I was like, okay, you could include Bert and Ernie in there because it's in the game. See, it always has to start with the game.
Sorry, you guys. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Oh, that was this more recent episode that... Oh, yeah. That one was bad.
Record the gameplay. James did all of that because I don't know how to play that game. I know how to play Shadowgate, which is a similar type of game. I've beaten Shadowgate, but Deja Vu, I don't know how to even play that game. So James did all that gameplay footage. And then when I saw the finished product of that, like the way you did that, how it was like film noir, I thought that was fucking awesome as far as one of the newer videos.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I love doing that in the film noir style. Like that was a really fun one to shoot. So what we're going to do here is just go down the list of years. So all the 20 years of past nerd episodes and just pick out some per year that stick out to me. It doesn't necessarily mean they're my absolute favorites of all time, but they're definitely like among my favorites. Just some that stick out at this moment. But 2006, I guess mention the Power Glove episode because that was kind of different. Instead of playing a game, it was more about a game accessory. And I think that
accessory, God, who says it like that?
was my first time really using the Power Glove also and trying to see how it worked. And it was a different kind of episode because I had to film the TV screen and show everything happening. So it was a bit complicated at the time.
I remember the Power Glove episode. I was a little bit there for parts of you filming that, and I don't remember if it was my Power Glove or what, but the one thing I do remember is you having that old television with the WoW sticker, and I remember because I had the Power Glove as a kid, so I think I was showing you about it, and putting that plastic like sensor bar on the side. I remember showing you that and you being like, what the fuck, like you didn't know about that. And then you went and you looked up all like the codes online and everything about how to like dial it in and all that stuff. So yeah, I remember you doing all that. And I think I brought over a stack of NES games because I think you didn't have a couple that you wanted to be in there, like Zelda 2 and stuff or something. It was so long ago, it's hard to remember all the details.
2007, man, there were too many to pick from again, but I think the Christmas Carol two-parter sticks out because back in those days, I would split the episodes into 2 parts more often because we were coming out with 2 a month. So,
oh yeah, I did a whole video on his awkward Opie and Anthony call-in. That's worth a watch if you want to search my shit. You'll find it.
Rather than like nowadays, we typically just put out one big episode instead. But, back then we would split it into parts. So Christmas Carol was like basically, getting to do...
I would say that's a good one. I feel like that's a classic AVGN, the Christmas Carol one.
Do the whole Christmas Carol spoof, which tends to happen in a lot of, TV shows and stuff. So it's a trope. And it got to show the old nerd for the first time, the future nerd, which that version of the future nerd has like the fake beard and everything. But then there's the other version of the future nerd that appears in the Beating Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde episode. So there's multiple timelines of the nerd. We're going to have to get into that sometime. But the funny thing now the Wii is 20 years old. So it's not really, at the time it was a modern console, but now it's just as retro as any of the other ones. 2008 started as a very rough year for me because I was sick for like 4 months straight, just from not sleeping and like putting too much overtime in on these videos. Like the one that was the toughest, but one of the best, was Mario 3. So there's that big fight at the end with Satan and Super Mecha Death Christ. That was one of those ideas where it was just, one of those random things that was so off the wall, but it was so perfect. And I remember getting really sick during all that, just from burnout. And while I was editing, I was losing my voice, and my voice started to sound like Pazuzu, the demon in The Exorcist.
Pazuzu?
So I used that to my advantage, and I actually recorded what my voice sounded like for the possessed NES, when it was like, your mother sucks cocks in hell and all that. But that was really my voice back then.
I said, your mother sucks cocks in hell.
I think back then we tried to work a little bit ahead of schedule because we had to get out an episode every 2 weeks at that point with our...
We got a super chat here. $5 I Play Better High. You seen the Lindsay Ellis, Doug Walker, Fern Gully review? I so hated Lindsay's newest video. I watched it with my wife, and I felt bad I wasted her time. No, I've not really consumed Lindsay Ellis's content, not for any particular reason. I barely like Doug. I love me some Todd in the Shadows. Honestly, Todd in the Shadows, I probably owe him some money for as much as I've watched his content. And it's so rewatchable. Train Records, One Hit Wonderland. I don't really care about him reviewing modern songs, but that shit's worth its weight in gold. Todd in the Shadows, clear winner of anybody from that guy with the glasses. Channel Awesome, Doug included. Like, Todd in the Shadows. That's where it's at.
Game trailers contract. So James would be working on one, usually something more complicated like Mario 3 with the elaborate skits, while I was trying to work on episodes that were more...
Okay, so I was talking with my mod today about the Lindsay Ellis. I didn't know she got canceled. I would like to see something about that. I had no idea of her cancellation, or else I would have included it in my Kick-Assia video I just released.
Gameplay focused. I do remember you being really worried about being sick for so long. It was going on a long time. So we actually ended up putting out an episode that I completely wrote, the Chronologically Confused About Zelda Timeline. I actually wrote that around the time when James and I did the Friday the 13th video, and James recorded the voiceover back then. We wanted to put that one out way sooner, but I was having a lot of computer issues, and it ended up getting shelved for a long time.
Been there with the computer issues. That's why it took me like, I don't know what, a whole last month to release a Kickassia video. Because I had a bunch of assets that I had already farmed off of YouTube on the hard drive of my computer, and I didn't feel like re-downloading them, so I had to wait for my fucking computer to get pretty much wiped and rebooted and reconfigurated. And yeah, I normally don't go that long between videos. If you're a new subscriber and you're watching this, if you happen to be watching this, I usually release the edited tight ones. I usually release those much quicker than I did the Kickassia one, even though I will say that that's been the most involved editing thing that I've done in a really long time. I won't be doing that again anytime soon.
So with James so sick, I brought up the idea of finishing off the episode because he was unable.
Well, that's cool. Most of the chat feels like I have autism. Well, that's fucked. Here I've been casting stones in a glass motherfucking house. Would you look at that?
Able to work. So it was good we happen to have that as a whole backup episode.
When debating the Zelda timeline, you usually either believe in one linear timeline or a split timeline. There's no generally accepted splittist or linearist theory, and yes, people who believe in a split timeline are called splitists, and people who believe in a linear timeline are called linearists. It's sort of like Trekkie and Trekker, except even more nerdy.
2009. Well, Crazy Castle. That was probably the craziest battle scene that you and I ever filmed. I just remember after we did that, we were like, how are we ever going to top this? And I don't think we ever did. It was just like, well, what are you going to do after this? Like, we had pies splatting in the face. We had fake blood. There was bunny shit. That video had so much destruction and so much fight choreography. The birthday blowout video was good, but I think Crazy Castle really like blew the roof off.
My video will be done when it's done. The more you ask me about it, the longer it's going to take. How many times do I have to tell you this?
I think the only way we could really top that video, like past that, is if like we literally made it like its own movie or something. Like it would have to be like really dedicated to like actually like really top it and make it like a lot better. I think it would really have to be like its own like short film or something like that, or like with some kind of a budget to be able to do that. But I think if we were to do that, it's almost going too far, because this is like a game review show, and it's like, if you watch that Crazy Castle episode, it's a mishmash of like, we're talking about the games and then we're fighting and back and forth. So if we just had if we topped it and had a whole thing with us fighting and we're jumping off of buildings and explosions and all this stuff, it's like, I think it's kind of getting besides the point at that point. So I think that was a good place to leave it.
Yeah, and like we do those type of guest character videos every now and then. Like that's still a thing. Like that's one of the types of nerd episodes that exist. But I remember, it's funny, this is just one of those things that goes with the nature of, running a show for so long. But like at that time, I remember we would always get complaints every time we would bring Bugs Bunny in or somebody. It's like, why can't it just be the game review? Why do we got to have all these guest characters and stuff? And now people are like, oh, I remember that Bugs Bunny video. I love that one. So
I don't think the show would have been as successful. I'm more of a gameplay guy, but I would say the show would not have been as successful without all.
So I'm watching the counter here, and this reminds me of back when I went to church. And you feel like the preacher's got to be wrapping it up, and you're just like, all right, come on, let's wrap it up, wrap that shit up. Let's get to bow your heads. Let's pray, dear Jesus. We thank you for whatever the fuck, however they would conclude it. That's how I'm getting that same feeling right now. Like I've been sitting through like a fucking 3-hour Catholic mass, for fuck's sakes. I didn't even grow up Catholic. Southern Baptist all the way, fire and brimstone. Coming to you!
All the skits and different things, and that's more James's forte, is like adding in all these like skits and segments. if it was all just gameplay footage of the show, there's no way this show would have gotten to be as big of a thing. If everything was just like the first episode and gameplay footage, like it just wouldn't be. There's no way. But I do think that when there is characters and things like that, that the idea needs to have a foundation, and the foundation is the game. So as long as you have that foundation and like with the Ernie thing, there was a reason for Ernie to be there. So as long as there's that foundation for like it starts with the game and then characters come from that, I think it works. But if it was just character for the sake of character, then I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it always starts with the game. Like every episode is like, play the game, see if this works for an episode, and if it does, then you can start, adding to it and giving it a flourish. So 2010 was a big year. There was a couple with Kevin I gotta mention, Ninja Gaiden and the Glitch Gremlin episode.
I don't know if I can. All right, let's just skip ahead here. They're taking forever. All right, we got 9 minutes left now. I just cut 5 minutes off of that for you. Oh, I just realized, they never mentioned Kyle Justin at all. Like a dude who was like a pretty big part of like James's life before he was the nerd, and even during the nerd. He wrote the fucking theme song, went to the cons with them, was in some of the episodes. Not even mentioned. They mentioned Big Ryan, but they didn't mention Kyle Justin. I wouldn't expect them to mention Bootsy because like that's Mike Matei's got like, I guess, like an active like beef with Bootsy. I'm assuming, I don't know. But I just know that, you could have at least mentioned Kyle Justin. Jesus Christ, dude. He's in like all your fucking, like, man, these guys are like so like, it's like you're being PR when you're on YouTube. That's why you're on YouTube, because you don't have to adhere to corporate standards. You don't have to be PR anymore. Like, why wouldn't you mention any of that shit? I mean, obviously they're not going to mention like the critiques and the bad stuff, but I mean, like, Kyle Justin was like a positive force. There was never any controversy as far as I know about him.
Yeah, you fucking game.
The episode I think that was the best or the most unique of 2017 was Polybius, because
I agree. I think that was his best game of 2017. I liked that. I legitimately liked that episode.
It wasn't a real game. It was just a made-up game, an urban legend, and basically the whole episode was like a found footage horror film. So that was really, really fun, and that satisfied a lot of my urge to make, short horror films. Okay, so 2018, you already mentioned Earthbound. Earthbound was a huge episode. At the end of 2018, the Christmas one was Home Alone games with Macaulay Culkin.
Don't start bringing up the people you collaborated with, the celebrities. You sucked all the funny out of them. I don't know how you managed to do that. I'm guessing they're coming onto your turf, so you wrote the script and they have to memorize the lines. Somehow you killed Gilbert Gottfried. I mean, not literally, but in theory. I don't know. Yeah, he was like a zombie on that episode. Macaulay Culkin, he just doesn't act anymore. He doesn't care about acting. Party Monster was a weird movie. He's pretty much a child actor. Lloyd Kaufman was a fucking nut job, which I guess that's just how he is, but it wasn't funny. I feel like there's like a fourth one that I'm not remembering. Oh, fucking Keith Apicary. That was a nobody liked that episode. I bet he's gonna bring up. I feel like he's probably just gonna like bring up the celebrity cameos now.
So that was so much fun, having Macaulay Culkin over and playing all those games. It was very meta, just very funny. A lot of ad-libbing going on. We had a really great time doing that.
You were in the Home Alone movies, right?
Yep.
You were in them.
Yep.
You were the pizza boy in Home Alone.
Yeah. I'm still.
Well, we got 150 whatever Iwu is. Hi, DWG. Do you think James and Mike know old videos were way better? Uruguayan pesos. Fantastic. Muchos gracias, senor. I think they speak Spanish in Paraguay. I don't fucking know. Uruguay. Sorry. Uruguay. Sorry. We always called it Uruguay growing up. We were very fascinated by this country in South America because, we were millennials. So it's like, you're gay. Yeah, I know I didn't get rich off that super chat, Zombie. It's not all about money. It's not all about money, Mark. He's a fan of my video. He like what I do. I don't care he rich man or not. I answer his question regardless. Come on now. Get with the program. Yeah, I think Mike is more aware that the old videos are better. I think James probably thinks they're all just as good. Like, I don't think he is self-aware. I think Mike totally knows the older ones are better.
Pizza boy, just
wow, that's
very method.
That's amazing.
Still pizza.
The Immortal. I think The Immortal was my favorite episode of 2019
¿Cómo
because
estás?
it was a whole episode filmed in one take. Can you imagine how hard that was to do?
Hold on. You didn't pull a DSP and pull out the calculator currency convert. Does he do that? Does he fucking do that? Does Phil pull out a fucking currency calculator? Oh my God. Oh my God. That's crazy. Big Jack Films, CA $2. Got to take off. You got my notes. Great stream. Yeah, if you want to hit me up somehow, that you used to could DM someone. I got a Twitter. It's right there at DWG YouTube. If you want to send me a DM, I don't know. We can talk about something or another about whatever you were mentioning earlier. I'm trying to do a live stream over here, so it's kind of hard for me to hyper focus on it.
The behind the scenes thing of it later at some point, I think. But basically, I constructed this whole set and
he called me a genius.
And everything in the whole video, including any of the gameplay, anything that you see, was all in one take. No.
All right. Well, I don't want to give you. Yeah, let me throw my Instagram out there. If people find it, they find it, and that's all right. But let me throw it out here with these fucking 98 people. 20 of them are trolls, so I don't want to throw that out there. But yeah, you'll figure it out one way or another.
Editing whatsoever. No editing, but lots and lots of preparation. So 2020 was an interesting year because that was when COVID hit. But looking back, I think my favorite one off the top of my head was Mission Impossible because of the whole Tom Cruise skit at the end. So we got not Tom Cruise to be in the video and basically...
Fucking knew he was just going to start bringing up celebrity cameos.
Like he was in disguise as the nerd the whole time. So I loved that. 2021 was like the comeback year after COVID. So basically in the summer 2021, things really kicked up a notch, but
I want to say Bimmy's like 45 now or something like that.
We had the most episodes in 2021 since 2009, I think, unless you count 2014, which had the 12 Days of Shitsmas. But 2021 had a huge amount of episodes.
46.
Episode 200, all the LJN games, was the biggest episode I had done at that point. So episode 200 was basically finish all the LJN games that I hadn't done. So it was basically like mention all the ones that I had done before, but then just check off every LJN game from the list. So that was a big episode. But I don't want to forget about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, because that was one that took a few years to finish. But Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I did the whole thing in the...
He's so proud of the episode. I don't think I've ever seen it. that's just when he started to suck. I know he says he probably did put a lot of work into it. I just couldn't care less.
Style of Hunter S. Thompson, and that was one of my favorite ones to write because it was writing in his style. So I absolutely loved that one. Yeah, I mean, 2021 had Commodore 64. It had the return of Freddy and Jason for the Commodore 64 game. So yeah, 2021 was a big year.
I really like that Amiga 32 one with the paint bucket and all that.
Yeah, when we burned we used the flamethrower on the game. Yeah, that's one of the greatest game destructions we've ever done.
How's that for practical?
So 2022, we mentioned The Last Ninja already. There's the Doom episode, the Garfield one. I love the whole...
Yeah, during World War II, how effective were flamethrowers ever in war? I ask this legitimately. Maybe for bunker busting, I don't know. But I don't know. I wouldn't think there would be a lot of oxygen. I don't know. It's an interesting thought. The flamethrower as a weapon. I know they're great in games, but in real life, in war and shit, and I think they stopped using them after like World War II, maybe Vietnam. I think they used them in Vietnam. I don't think they use them anymore. I don't see flamethrowers as like all that effective of a weapon, unless it kind of like gets on you. It's like maybe it's like napalm or something like that. Yeah, I could see that for like deforesting very forested areas or something.
Chronologically confused part in the Garfield episode. But the Contra episode, I think, was the cream of the crop. That's still, to this day, one of the best episodes, I think, because the end of that...
Would my stream get shut down if I taught you guys how to make napalm? I know how to do it. It's a very easy formula. It's so easy to make napalm. I just don't know if I don't know if I can say that on here. I downloaded the Anarchist Cookbook back in goddamn 2000 off of LimeWire, okay? I know how to do a lot of weird stuff.
Contra episode has that sentimental part where I'm talking about what it was really like, you know, living those games in your childhood, or just kind of like, I guess they say like nostalgia. It's like putting on those rose-colored glasses or whatever the saying is, but it's basically like looking back very fondly.
It involves a lot of styrofoam.
And I think I remember you
there you go.
texted me something when I was working on that episode, which I already had an idea that I was going into that, but you were like, hey, I think you should make an episode where you could make people cry, like really talk about their childhood and make it like really sentimental. And I was like, yep, I'm done. I'm doing it.
You had kind of done that a little bit once. I remember the end of the Castlevania 4-parter. I remember feeling kind of like sad that like the Castlevania 4-part thing was like
4 minutes.
And also we had been talking about the idea of doing something different in these episodes, like Seaman and like these different types of episodes. I was like, what about making these people try to make them cry?
A lot of people said they did. So 2023 had the Indiana Jones episode.
Oh, I knew he'd be proud of that one because he replicated the old nerd set and used his old nerd camera.
Continuation.
But the writing and the passion was gone, unfortunately. It was a dried husk of what it formerly was. And it doesn't always necessarily matter if the set dressing is good, if the passion is lost. Who really gives a fuck? Because that's why people were there to begin with. Let's bow our heads for prayer.
Of the Indiana Jones episode. The new movie was coming out, the Dial of Destiny. So, of course, I had to have the
Diarrhea Dial.
So, basically, the nerd reviews the game from 2 timelines. So, he's reviewing it in the current day and then also continuing the old episode. So, I basically recreated that shot, filmed it on the old cameras and everything. So it's basically like the old episode just picked right up. So that was the idea. Also 2023, we mentioned it a little before, I think, but the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde finale, beating Jekyll.
Oh my God, I fucking hated this episode.
Jekyll and Hyde, that was one of the best, if not the best I've ever done. The only thing I wasn't happy with that one was the lav audio, because I used a...
Yeah, he brought it up. I don't know how you didn't catch that in post-production. Hate to bring up Red Cow again, but Frankie corrected that shit in like 2 seconds and made it sound great, like in post, even with the episode that was already out.
Same one I used on the AVGN movie, by the way, but it just didn't sound good. I don't know why, but aside from that, everything came out great. had
It didn't sound good because he had the lav like underneath a lot of clothing that like muted it, and you could have easily just brought the higher treble frequency up, and it would have fixed that problem in like 2 seconds. And it's just another example of James just like not just losing the fucking plot, man. It's like things that are quick fixes. He's like, I have no earthly idea how to get around this. This is an insurmountable issue. It's just going to be how it is, man.
Joe Lascola doing the makeup. So I basically played the nerd impersonating the Father Merrin role from The Exorcist. So basically it was a whole spoof of The Exorcist, but exorcising the demon out, which is Jekyll and Hyde. So having that closure and finally beating Jekyll and Hyde for the first time ever was definitely something on my bucket list. So 2024, you already mentioned Deja Vu. That's definitely one of my favorites. But also the year ended with a big two-parter, Blaster Master, and then it went into Game Glitches, the Legacy sequel. So it was kind of cool.
God, the game glitch thing with the wonky, like weird blue gradient that like it looked like it was like keyframed over Kevin, who plays the glitch gremlin. It was like keyframed over all of his movements. I don't know how or why he couldn't have implemented green body paint or some shit like that, but he didn't, and it looked like crap. It looked so bad. I don't know what the fuck. Like in the first one he nailed it. Like that's one of my favorite AVGN episodes, is the first glitch gremlin episode back in like 2000 and like fucking 6 or whatever.
Cool, bringing back the glitch gremlin after all these years. So we want it to be like in the style of like all these modern legacy sequels where they continue it, but they bring back old characters and all that. Well, 2025 had a lot of good episodes too. There was Mario Paint with Guar.
Yep, any celebrity cameo, he's gonna say that's gonna be his favorite one.
There was the Metroid trilogy.
I will agree, the Metroid trilogy was a good episode. I did enjoy that one. Gah! Fucking Ari calling me out of nowhere, fucking up my whole stream. God damn. All went to shit just then.
And then the werewolf episode. E.T. also, most recently, E.T. Interplanetary Mission on PlayStation. That was a great one.
No, that episode sucked.
If I had to pick one, probably the werewolf one, because I get to play a werewolf. So, I mean, I love classic horror and
I mean, the things that had nothing to do with the actual gameplay or the AVGN, yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, the effects, face paint, or just hair, whatever. Yeah, that was all cool. Him playing the actual game, kind of the bread and butter, that still sucked.
Doing something that was kind of a spoof of the Wolfman was definitely another one on my bucket list. 2026 is up in the air. We'll see what happens, but we have a lot of episodes in the works and a lot of surprises coming up. So anyway, this has been really fun talking about all this history of 20 years on the YouTube channel. I mean, holy shit. What's crazy about it, when you look back at 20 years, it feels like many things have changed in my life over 20 years, but the one thing that remains the same is the nerd. It really is sort of like one of those things where time stands still, where every time I put the white shirt on, every time I go in and turn on the camera and start going, it just really feels like it's one of those comfort things where it's something that stays the same. You know what I mean? And a lot of people say that to me too. A lot of people say like, oh yeah, I love the fact you're still doing these episodes because I can always, turn it on and watch it and it's always there, so that's really cool.
I just want to say thank you very much to the audience, because we wouldn't have any of this without the audience.
Absolutely, for sure, 100%. And yeah, it is really cool to have a character like that where I get to be myself, but I also get to like be somebody who's not myself, like the nerd. And so it is kind of fun in a way to be associated with the character, and I could always sort of just embrace that, where like I could just say I'm the fucking nerd, have a Rolling Rock on me, and it's always good.
All right. Well, if you guys want to see Mike Matei, I guess he broke down his Inspector Gadget video or whatever the fuck. It's like 8 minutes. I guess type yes in the chat. If not, I'm ending this shit. I know there's a delay between me saying this and you hearing it, so I'll give it a minute. If I get a couple of yeses, maybe I'll do it. If not, I'm leaving this bitch. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Uh, 10. Yeah, counts as yes, I suppose. Bye. Octavia, how do you not have the Discord? I thought you were in my Discord link. What the fuck? All right, well, 10 people want to see it. And I'm a whore, so there you go. That's what we're going to see. It's 8 minutes. Yeah, well, my nose was resting against the microphone. And I have allergies. And I'm a hardcore cocaine addict. And I sell all my shit for coke. That's probably the first thing I should have said. Those other things were just excuses to hide my habit. At least I'm not a felonious meth head, though. At least I got that going for me. All right, where's this shit that I downloaded? Anticipating that you motherfuckers want to see this. This is the story of Minecraft with Gadget by Mike Matei. Hopefully it's not
So I just got done
Mike McGay
doing a 20th anniversary video on the James Nintendo Nerd channel where we discussed a lot of our old videos. We covered tons of stuff, but I didn't get a chance to talk about the Gadget video, which has become a big part of the channel's lore. So I thought now might be a good time to make something like this. I've made thousands of videos over the years, but one that seems to stick in people's minds more than any other is Minecraft with Gadget, because it became an instant meme after I made it.
I also like to build brown bricks with Minecraft.
Most memes fade eventually, but the Gadget memes don't seem to die, and I'm completely fine with that. I grew up a fan of Star Trek, and many people would make fun of Bill Shatner for his Rocket Man performance. I think it's kind of similar in—
Damn, he's on like a... Bill Shatner, not even William. He's on like a first name basis with this dude. He must be pretty close.
Away. One of those forever lasting weird internet phenomena.
Ashtray, in all honesty though, bro, like when have you been on time in the last like 2 years on here? You're always late. It's cool, man. I'm chilling. It ain't no big deal. Hey, got a super chat. Enjoy a very small amount of coke on me. I don't even know how much $10 buys you in coke because I've never actually done it, but you know. Sorry to break the lore there.
You might be wondering why I even made a video like that or how it came about. Well, I'm gonna tell you the whole story from top to bottom. I made the video Minecraft with Gadget in 2011, back when I was doing all sorts of solo videos on the James Nintendo Nerd channel. Making solo videos wasn't something I wanted to be doing. From 2006, when I made the channel, until around 2011, we were making Angry Video Game Nerd episodes, top 10s, and movie reviews. I was helping to write and edit those videos, and that's all I really wanted to do. I didn't like appearing on camera. Back then, I'd try to hide my face behind masks or makeup whenever I had to be on camera. Being an actor was never a goal of mine. I was perfectly happy working behind the scenes as a writer and editor. What changed was that James decided to go to Hollywood for a year to make the AVGN movie. And I knew that that meant almost no regular videos would be coming out on the channel for a very long time. And that scared me. There was a real chance the YouTube channel would be dead by the time the movie was finished. So even though I didn't want to, I decided I had to step up and make some videos to keep the channel alive.
You see the pacing of this? This would have been much more preferred for the Cinemassacre 200th, or no, 20th anniversary. This would have been much preferred than whatever we just fucking watched. Just an pre-edited fucking pacing, narration, voiceover thing. That would have been way more my speed.
At that time, almost nobody knew who I was. Some diehard fans knew I played Jason Voorhees or Bugs Bunny, but most of our audience only knew James. So I was in a tough spot. They didn't necessarily want to see me, they wanted to see AVGN. And honestly, I understood that completely. People were there for AVGN, that's what we built. But at the same time, I didn't want the channel to go silent for a long time. I loved working on the AVGN videos, helping to write them and record the gameplay. It was my favorite thing. I didn't like the idea of the web series being on break for so long. I just wanted to continue how we had been. But James had this dream of making a feature film, and that's just how it was. And that's fine too, but it put me in this spot. I understood exactly how the fans felt about me being there because I felt the same way. They wanted the nerd, and so did I. But here I was in a position where I had to help keep things alive, so I took one for the team and I started to make solo content. I did a lot of videos back then.
This sounds like a dude who's like the end of this video is he ends up in porn. I didn't know what was going to happen next, but I did know that I was open for anything, and I knew things were going to get crazy, and boy, did they. I found myself in a house full of 12 black guys, really muscular, oiled up black guys. And it was the summer, and I was just trying to let loose. And I just kind of went crazy and let loose. Blacked.com.
Top 10 obscure NES gems, Mario hack videos, lots of stuff that got millions of views. Most of the videos I did were well received, though a few didn't land as expected. I dropped the Minecraft with Gadget video sometime in 2011. Our YouTube audience had never seen the DVD menu video that James and I had made with Inspector Gadget, so they had zero context for what I was doing. At the time, yeah, it confused some people.
The internet already knew me as 10-incher Mike, so I thought, what would it hurt if Tyrone invited me to his house with his homeboys, and I showed up? So I did. It was summer, I was young, and I wanted to get crazy. Blacked.com.
People, and it got mixed reactions, including some heavy downvotes. I saw people didn't really like it, so I decided to take it down, but over time, it kind of turned into something else entirely. People started re-uploading it, remixing it, making jokes about it. It became its own little corner of the internet, and honestly, that's the part that made it memorable. I didn't fully realize that once something goes on the internet, it doesn't really leave. The takedown created sort of a Streisand effect where people re-uploaded it, made their own takes, and helped the video gain a second life. One of my favorite remixes is called Minecraft Without Gadget. They just took Gadget out. And it's me talking to myself like I'm a completely insane person. It's brilliant and it's hilarious.
Hey,
oh man, when people gain possession of the meme and they embrace it and then they like explain to you why it's funny, 99% chance you've just killed any potential or funniness that meme could have had or did have. Now, this is like a fucking over a decade old meme, obviously, so whatever. It's an antique. But, you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Everybody, I'm here with my good friend, Inspector Gadget. How you doing, Inspector Gadget?
But now, to back up a bit, this whole Gadget thing goes way back. When I was in college, I wanted to watch the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and the Zelda cartoon. I remember I was at Tower Records and I found a cheap DVD set that had the cartoons on them and I brought it home. The DVD menus on that had Inspector Gadget explaining every detail of how the DVD worked. It was a DVD for little kids, but I thought it was hilarious how he was over-explaining everything.
This button will play all of the episodes. This button will take you to a new menu.
I showed the DVD to James and he thought it was funny too, but that was that for many years. Cut to around 2009 or so, and we were on YouTube making all kinds of videos, plus exclusive content on Cinemassacre.com. On there, we did a video about that DVD set, and we were doing bad Inspector Gadget impressions. The website audience loved it, and they asked us all the time to do more videos like that. So fast forward to 2011, James was busy with the AVGN movie, and I was doing the solo content stuff, like the Game Glitch series and all that. I was making a whole lot of stuff, but I noticed something interesting. Back then, YouTube would feature certain videos on the front page.
$10 super chat.
It seemed like the only videos
skins.
that were really
Take another shot. Let's go.
Were about this new game called Minecraft. I didn't get it at
Take
first.
a little baby one.
I was a retro gamer, more into NES and Atari games.
Yeah,
but
pace
Minecraft
yourself, my boy.
dominated the platform.
You gotta pace yourself.
So I thought, why not have Inspector Gadget talk about the game? Gadget is like this idiot character, so it wouldn't matter if he got things wrong. Instead of me having to learn how to play the game properly, I could use Gadget as my excuse for not knowing it. So in one afternoon, in about like 7 hours, I made the whole video. It was experimental. I was noticing Minecraft's dominance on YouTube, and I wanted to try something in that space in my own weird way. But I failed to realize that our YouTube audience hadn't seen the DVD menu video, so they had no context. Zero context for the audience. They were expecting AVGN, and here was this other idiot, me, talking about Inspector Gadget. Confusion was inevitable. And yes, my impressions are terrible on purpose. Only Don Adams can really do a good Gadget impression. My like Joker, Cowardly Lion, Elmo, and Gadget, they're all just exaggerated, weird, and off-putting.
No, they were great. You know, I used to think Inspector Gadget had a dick nose. He's actually got a dick chin. A deformed dick chin. That uncircumcised dick chin. What? Did they really draw him like that? I don't even know why I watched that show when I grew up. I think it was just on TV. It was a cartoon, and as a kid, I just responded well to that shit. Like animated shit on TV. But then again, I did watch Are You Afraid of the Dark on Nickelodeon. That was a really underrated show. Goosebumps was okay, but it was I feel like I'm Curator James right now. Goosebumps was okay, but Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah, that was the real motherfucker right there.
That's kind of how I make them mine. I know they're bad. I lean into it.
Oh,
I mean, look at how I do the Cowardly Lion.
So many.
I like to wipe my ass with his tail.
So years have passed now, and I've actually streamed and beaten Minecraft with another player acting as Inspector Gadget. I learned about mining, armor, fighting the dragon, and the endgame. And at one point, I remember I asked Vinny from Vinesauce to explain it to me, and he told me it was a sandbox game. And that's true, sure, but it's more than that, because it's beatable. It's not just random creative mode chaos. You start with nothing, gain equipment, and eventually defeat a dragon, and there's even end credits at the finish. It is a full game. So after all those years, I realized I actually kind of like.
Did you mofos? I'm sure you Canadian mofos know what I'm talking about. Before it was all that on Nickelodeon, it was a show called Roundhouse. Do you remember Roundhouse? I remember that show. Do you? I'm old. It may not appear that way, but I am.
Minecraft. It's not my favorite game in the world or anything, but it's pretty fun. So I thought that would be the end of the whole Minecraft thing, but the internet keeps it alive. Someone even turned my video into a real Game Boy Color game. I've heard that Oni Plays references it sometimes, and apparently it's also even in the game Deltarune. And I've heard other people make the claim that it inspired the VTuber genre, which I don't even really get what that is, but okay. People constantly bring it up on social media. It's truly the meme that never dies. So looking back, I get why people were confused at first, and it's kind of funny to see how something so weird at the moment ended up being remembered kind of fondly. People joke to me about Stage 5 acceptance. Well, I've embraced it. I even sell t-shirts and mugs with brown bricks on them now. Thanks to everybody who's ordered one of those, by the way. If you want to see the whole video, I re-uploaded it to the Cinemassacre Clips channel years back, and since then it's taken on a whole different kind of reception. People leave Back to the Future type comments on it saying, "Guess you guys aren't ready for that yet, but your kids are gonna love it." At the time, it was like, what is this? But now people just love quoting it. So yeah, it turned out to be a pretty successful half day at work for me. Not exactly in the way I expected, but that's kind of how the internet works.
You can shut up now.
That's all I got. That's all I had planned. I think this is like a 3 or 4 hour stream at this point. I think I'm done. I'll give you guys some aftercare. Good job. Thanks. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciated it. That was a good job you did watching things. You guys did a good job watching videos. I like what you did when you stared at the screen and watched me watching other things. I also enjoyed your various comments. They weren't always positive, but they were mostly, and it did fill my heart full of glee to see those positive comments. I'm glad that you like what I do. I swear to God, someone commented one time and they're like, you know, I just don't like how you just end your streams abruptly. I'd like some like they literally use the word aftercare. I don't know if you guys know about this, but aftercare is usually a terminology used after sexual intercourse is performed between you and your partner, and you cuddle, you rub them down with body oils and essential oils and whatever oils you want to use. You fucking, you high five them, you give them a fist bump, you do whatever you do. What you don't do, the opposite of aftercare, is violating this person's body and then throwing your clothes on and being like, peace, babe, catch you later, maybe, and then you just drive off. That's the opposite of aftercare. You sit around and you talk about it and you have feelings and you express those feelings. And I was told that that's what's needed. Is that? So that's what I'm doing right now. How do you guys feel? How are you guys feeling? Oh my God, I still look fresh as a fucking daisy. It's this great lighting I got going on over here. I don't know. Kind of want to kill the chat off. See if I can do it. Watch something that is so unappealing that you will not stick around. Or maybe I'll just dick around like this and bore people to death. Just kill the chat off. Kill it off! Kill it. I know, I thought leaving abruptly was funnier, honestly. That was more my style. But now I've caught a buzz from people enabling me with the alcohol. It's all your fault. So yeah. Here we are. You and me and you. I'm looking directly at you right now. Sorry. I almost RGTA. Oh, all right. You know what? Nah, I'm not going to do that. I mean, it's like 2:30 in the morning on the East Coast. So why would 92 people still be in here? I must be a second screen kind of guy, I'll never be a first screen guy. I'm the one that's I'm the one that's playing in the background while you do another thing that's more important. That makes me very sad. Yeah, Plick, Dickfield, Dick Pliskins, Splick, Dickskin threw me over the edge. Or am I just acting like you threw me over the edge? Am I really that drunk? You think so? Just kind of did a little lift there, like Mike Tyson. Yeah, this is bad. Not good. All right, was this good enough aftercare? Is this enough aftercare? I think this is enough. There's nothing else. I got nothing else. I'm not going to pull anything else up. I'm going to keep this a Bimmy thing. Keep these streams more fucking consistent. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope this was worth the cost of admission. And also meine letzte Nachricht zu dich ist, ich hoffe, du hast sehr froh auf die Geschichte von der AVGN-Nerd. Und wenn du Deutsches bist, du kannst mir auf mein Instagram Nachrichten gesenden, bitte. Aber bis später. Tschüss.